Whatever. Who even needs center? And we are live. And also, this is not the intro card that I wanted. There you go. Hello everyone. I think we are live now. Maybe. So we are going to be covering the Happy Festival transients, as well as the skill evolutions that came out recently. We will be starting with the Evos. That's not the correct one right now. Yeah, it's just gonna be me and Milk today because Irby and Zalgus decided they ended up being busy, or they had some other commitments, or they just didn't feel like it. It's a mix of everything, honestly. So I'm very happy to have my new discussion partner covering my bases here, so I don't end up drowning in all this new content. Say hello, Milk.
I'm here to talk about Tezcatlipoca.
Yes, he is. All right. With that said, we can just directly begin. Hello, Prisma. We will be starting with the Evos. And starting off with our favorite unit in the entire game, Licht. Well, my favorite unit. Anyways, his Evo is quite representative of some of the stuff in this batch. A lot of them is quite elaborate and very synergistic, but also not game-breaking, but very interesting. His Evo, first off, let's start with his existing effect and how it was upgraded. His 14 CP he used to give only to one ally directly in front of him, as now whenever he hits someone, he gives it to anyone in front of him, which is just like any row in front of him. So it's like all range kind of, except not behind him and not beside him. So that's interesting. And you know, you can get a lot more units to get more CP that way, but in practice, you're not actually going to give that much more CP. It's just going to be more flexible. But that's just the minor effect. The major effects are he now has some lore abilities of being able to give a status as a skill as a status. You know, it's a skill acquisition thing where he gives his allies at base start the ability to give all their buffs when they depart from battle, aka die. Hey, Vivid and Nuzuka and Chair Bear, nice to see you all again. I really should just read the comments after the fact. It's been a while. Yeah, and in addition, he received a sort of a nomad imperative where he can either move, but if he doesn't move, then the same effect can still activate by a move phase end ability, where he gives another acquired skill to adjacent to allies, removing all enemy buffs when those allies leave. So that's pretty interesting. And a couple more effects just like that, except for attack up and spirit. Again, this time just directly in front, just like the CP ability. So that's a lot to take in, honestly. Completely transforms him, yet at the same time not changing how he can be originally played at all. Like, you can still bring him to give CP to units in diamond range with the sheer AR, and he will function exactly the same. But you can also now give attack up to those same allies you're deciding to use as your charge spammers, and with no extra cost of that. Also spirit, but spirit is spirit. And the very unique thing, the whole being able to remove enemy buffs as well as spreading their own buffs, is really conditional too, because they're strong effects, but it also requires a very bad sacrifice of killing them or having your allies die. But that is lore specific, and I think this is actually one of the more worth it abilities that you can actually play around your team departing and your backline units coming out. So as a result, I would strongly recommend for Leak now just main slot sacrifice strategies. You can bring units that are already in your main slots, bestow or rather apply abilities that activate whenever they leave, as well as in your subslot members, give them make sure they have abilities when they appear. So it could be like Christine in the back, and I don't know, like Tets walks in the front, and then let them do their things when they do that, and they will do that in addition to the ability that Licht is giving them, which is giving all their buffs as well as removing all enemy buffs. So it's very elaborate and very specific strategy, and it's much stronger in that sense. But again, the original way of playing is not like overshadowed. You can still play with them as you did before. And in addition to that recommendation, you can also just try to recycle those buffs that you receive, because Licht now enables something brand new in terms of being able to retrieve buffs that were normally irretrievable for buff cycling setup. So this includes your standard Housamo Tangaroa setup, where they cycle their buffs back and forth so that they never actually run out. And it also includes Jiangshi Krampus. With those effects in play, or those setups in play rather, along with Lichts, now you can pretty much get any buff you want from any ally, even if it was exclusive to them, and now keep it for yourself, as long as it's more than one turn long. So, the most important effect of this being, the most important, I would say, is weapon change to all. And the easiest way to get that, I would say, is to bring a 3-star Alp, honestly, which is pretty funny because, you could bring a 4-star Alp and he has more CP on face start, but then that means a higher team cost. And if you bring Housamo and Tangaroa, then you barely have any team cost remaining. So Alp would be strong for that all range. And also, you could still bring Licht with the Shiro ARs to massively boost Alp 3's charge CP so that he can get his charge and get his weapon change, and then he can die. Alp 3 is the best unit to die. So, yeah, Alp 3 meta, let's go. And Licht, of course, will also get that all range if he managed to spread it with someone like Housamo and Tangaroa. So he can even amplify his own CP bestowing potential if he's hitting every single unit instead of just the units within shot range. Last comment is he works fairly well with Hot Spring Daikoku if you're actually planning around the departure strategy for your own units, because that ensures that units are leaving only one at a time, because Hot Spring Daikoku, if you guys aren't aware, he bestows this ability to allies where they revive the units beside them whenever they leave. So essentially with Daikoku in the field and Licht on field, no more than one unit will be leaving the battle per turn, and so you can time your departures a lot easier that way. Very different way of playing. If anyone plays like that, that'd be extremely, interesting to see and elaborate to set up, I'm sure. Those are all my thoughts. Any... Sorry, I'm used to handing this in back into a group, but... So what do you think, Milk? The one person here with me.
Yeah, I really wasn't looking at examples of of people who just sacrifice specifically. I'm kind of surprised about Alp 3. I think his CP gain isn't really that high though. It's 3-star, so you might have to wait a bit for throwing him away.
Yeah, he only starts with 40 CP, 40? So yeah. As I said, it would be a good idea to put them Alp in slot 1 and Licht in slot 3, so that he can give his ruler CP along with, if you have the Oath of Pioneer Shiro AR, that also works. But still, that only brings it to he'll probably need a couple of turns even after that.
Yeah.
But I would still say it's the best way if you want to have some extra, leeway to add in some, meter units with larger team cost.
I was looking at the status list of removable status effects, and other than weapon change, I think the most important thing to be able to give is Brawn, and probably Berserk or Berserk Plus.
Oh yeah, those are quite rare. And Rage Plus too, I guess, which is who even has Rage?
Yeah, Rage and Rage Plus, you're only gonna get one turn though, so that's kind of lame.
I mean, they're only... You're cycling them in feasibly, right? So, well, I guess with the talking about Housamo, but you're right in terms of you're not doing that, they'll only be for one turn. But it's nice that we have an option to get it at least now.
Yeah, so I think it would be nice to be able to just sack a giant or something, or anybody who has Brawn, because Brawn buffing is very, very rare. Berserk and Berserk Plus buffing is also very rare. Berserk, in the case of like regular Berserk, that's only gone half of CS, and nobody's gonna do that. Berserk Plus is a bit more common now.
I think Takamaru also has Berserk, right?
That's only to himself, but he doesn't bestow it to other people.
Oh,
But yeah,
well,
you can like sack him to like get Berserk, yeah. And he also would give concentration, but that doesn't really apply in the case of Balor.
Yeah,
I think
also-
Hachi is good because I think he has both Berserk and Brawn. Because he has like Lovesick. And he
Oh
can, like,
yeah,
move
I guess he
around.
would be decent. You know, that's an interesting take on things. I was so
He
focused on
also
doing
has
so, but
acceleration if you care about acceleration.
I mean, acceleration's pretty good. Honestly, it's usually not in good kits that can make use of
That's
it.
fairly rare, actually. Yeah.
It's like
They kind
8
of
CP per
overrated
turn for 3
acceleration.
turns. That's like legit. That's almost as good as arousal.
Yeah,
in
that's pretty
terms
good.
of- yeah, but yeah.
I would have said attack up, but Licht already gives it.
Yeah, maybe not so necessary.
Yeah, that's all I had about ideas for status effects. I guess you could also give that, what is it? Isn't that Hot Spring buff, like,
Hansen?
removable?
I'm pretty
Yeah, I
sure
think
it's
removable.
Is it? I thought it was gear removal. Well, I don't know.
I think it's the enemy one that's removable.
Quite possibly.
I don't know about the AR one.
But yeah, this AR has this skill evolution has potential for getting stronger as more, exclusive buffs released in the future. However, it seems like a lot of the strong ones are being relegated to only 1 turn long, the whole Hermes one. So maybe not, we'll see in the future.
Yeah, they are definitely cognizant of stuff like, I don't know, like buff spreading. Maybe not to the extent of Canon Tangaroa Itzamna, but they definitely know that they can't have the busted shit last more than 1 turn.
Yeah, it seems like most weapon change all now are like 1 turn only and stuff like that to prevent exploitation. But Leak found a loophole, let's go.
Yeah.
Alright, I guess that's it for this unit. So that was some interesting input from Milk in terms of just putting right away some units you're going to sacrifice, even mobs that have strong buffs that are usually just sub. So that's a good idea, honestly. Put all your main team you usually put in your sub slots and then just immediately sacrifice some, like, whatever's, just to get those nice buffs.
I've actually been doing it like before this because of Yugen Wakan Tonka. I have this like level 1 Sarutohiko because he has his like what is it? His like that purification buff, which is only to him. So I like
Oh, wow.
so I let him die, and the Mugen Wakan Tonka for my support, like my sub slot comes in, and he's like right next to the support. So like they just both trade their buffs like infinitely. So I've been kind of like experimenting with that a bit. Yeah.
Damn. Makes us fun. But also, I don't know, it's just, I was not expecting such an elaborate buff for Leaked. Because, it's like, in the past, sometimes they gave Evos just like fucking jumbo ones, just give them limit or something. They called it a day. This is like, look at the actual page for it. It's like, his Evo is larger than the rest of his kit.
I really like the attack up range. It's a very wide range. It's very rare to see like things be buffed like even just 2 squares away, like horizontally.
Yeah,
So I like the fact that it's like, like basically the entire board above him.
the only 2 units who could really do that right now is Yoritomo with just bigger and what's it called? I mean, Yoritomo can also do limit 2 squares away, but not like he can't really do large boards unless they're nearby. And also Fushi, but then again he has that oppression sometimes. So yeah, Leaked is another choice that we can all consider now. He is relevant, maybe. We'll see in the future. But I'll be thinking in the future of how to use him. Is that all our thoughts?
Yeah. The only thought I have else is that he's like pretty good in the farming quest, although for this festival farming quest. Attack up failed a bit, but it's okay. It's pretty good.
You can always move him.
Actually, I feel like my RNG for like moving him is just kind of shit. Maybe it's because of like the sort of gambler's fallacy, because he's already like, well, I don't know. It's not like that. I don't know. It's like I'm kind of dubious that it's like 270% procs, but I don't know. I haven't like really tested the probability. It's just that it's like failed whenever I want it to happen.
Well, I get where you're coming from. My answer to that is just never rely on anything less than 100%, honestly. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Alright, I shall read the comments in. Let's see. Hello, OMG Leaked Evo. Yes. Finally. Both leaks are finally evoed. Unique is gonna be the word of the day. That is a good summary for the feature coming up. Nerf protagonist. What? Protagonist? He doesn't offer anything. Well, oh, I guess that's true. We can. Well, this is just one more way to get a movement expansion now. I mean, we've had some more ways already, but you know, just one more way is nice. OMG Itchy for sure. Bring Mephistopheles. You cannot spread price of contract and you know, deal with the devil. So no, that's not gonna work. Kuma synergy. I forget what Kuma does. Like, which Kuma are you talking about? I'm not sure. If you mean like Valentine Kuma, he already gives his buffs away, so he doesn't need Leak to respread them. If you mean like regular Kuma, he only gives like crit or something like that to self. And concentration if he appears later on or something. Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind. Kuma synergy if he appears on the sub side. You're right. Are encouraging up abuse. I have always encouraged it. It's like, it's just a rite of passage for every Housamo player. We need to abuse more elves. That's the only way we can save this game from mediocrity. Let's see. Kuma relevance pug, for sure. I can't believe all of you guys remembered how Kuma works, but I didn't. Harvey, please. Finally caught another stream. Hey, Mark, nice to see you again. I promise I won't make another oh hi Mark joke this time in the stream. Alp's sad. Kind of fucked up they didn't give Leak the snipe range. It is kind of fucked up, honestly, but it's like, I mean, yeah, it's fucked up. It really does feel like the first actual evolution of the existing effect is kind of just a bonus. Even though it's such a large range, he's only shooting people in short range, so in reality, you're not really going to be giving CP to many people in the end for much more. Rage all transients with the adventure skill. Yep, quite possibly. If you really want that buff, but just remember, this is just like talking about the cutting edge of getting every single buff ever. You still, you know, probably need to think about your main team of getting the common buffs first before thinking about who to sacrifice. TLDR, offer a soul to the cold hand of death and pop off. Death is meta, let's go. Also, the stream is giving Mura some GL4 look and our fanfic. Why are both you and Mura cancer? Anyways, Leak's always been relevant. True that. The best thing about this Skivo is Spirit. I'm canceling you when I get back on chat in Discord. Hello, Edwin. And now, you're done talking about Leaked. At least as Evo. There's more Leaked content to come. Anyways, we'll move on to the next skill evolution. This will be covered by Harvey, and not the third person who's not here, and not the fourth person who isn't here. So thank you, Harvey. I'm passing it to you. Not Harvey. Did I say Harvey? I mean Milk.
Yeah.
My bad. Sometimes I say things and I don't even realize it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So, the Nyarl Skivo is a very weird Skivo. It's very filled with things. So the first, like, thing that is pretty standard is that his dazzle rate gets buffed from a shitty 44% to 90%, which I think is really good because in the past when I've used Nyarl, like, this like 44% dazzle rate was really like stupid. So the fact that it's been buffed to 90%, I like.
Well,
so
it's
still
it was literally
after being hit.
Sorry, go on.
It's still after being hit though, I think. So that's kind of a shame. So yeah, but he's definitely a lot more consistent in that regard. The more interesting part about his kit now though is this chance of craziness before being hit, which he applies to the entire board. Basically on phase start, And what is it? What it does is that for 4 turns, every enemy has a 50% chance, and this 50% chance doesn't scale to 100%. So it's just a flat 50% chance where if you hit an enemy, they will get craziness before being hit. And craziness is a very, very rare buff in the sense that it was introduced to Night Glows. And it was actually really quite hard to get because it's usually tied to a CS, or in the case of like Night Gaunts. But a lot of people don't really want to run Night Gaunts or like mobs in general. So this is basically the easiest way to get craziness now. And the other thing that he does is that when he moves, he applies Craziness Weakening, which lasts for 2 turns and gives a 3x multiplier for damage. So this is a really strong weakening effect to enemies. So if you manage to luck out and get craziness on your enemy, you can hit them for 3 times more damage. And Jarl actually also has a 1.5x damage multiplier against craziness. So if he actually hits craziness and his craziness weakening, which is at 100%, he actually does 10.3k damage, which is really strong for a magic unit, actually. Yeah, because he has limit as well. So yeah. So what are my general thoughts on it? I thought it was just kind of okay at first, like when you read it on paper. Like you're moving Jarl for like a 3x buff to, this 3x3 range, and the craziness is like some weird like 50% chance that isn't very consistent. But actually in practice, I think it's like kind of decent for a 4-star like skill evolution. Like it's kind of similar to, if I had to put it into comparison, like Sandayu, like applying like weakness to that 3x3 range. And honestly, that chance of craziness is actually quite consistent because you're applying this chance for every hit that your allies do. Like it's not just Jarl doing the attacks. It's like your entire team. So it's actually quite good to attack enemies with. I was using Makroihi for like the combo and the fact that he attacks a lot of enemies just due to his weapon range. I was actually like pretty decent. So yeah, like I think it's definitely best suited for vertical 3x6 maps, but
interesting.
Yeah, I thought his damage was like fairly decent. Like 3x damage for 2 turns is like a pretty good debuff, and it's unique. So yeah, I thought it was like pretty solid for a 4-star skill evolution. I don't really know about the cheese potential with this craziness stuff though.
Was his damage? Was his damage really not that strong even with limit and the weakening and the advantage?
No, it's strong. It's like 10.3k damage.
Oh wow. Okay, that's decent.
For a magic unit, that's like really high because it's like
it's like unvarried damage.
Yeah, you expect like 7k damage for like a shot unit. So for like a magic unit, that's like double what like Ban Typhon used to do back in the day.
Well, presuming he actually gets that chance for the craziness after being hit.
Yeah. Now it's like on par with Ban Typhon because of his like burn strengthening stuff. But,
I see.
But yeah, this is like, it's like pretty solid damage for like a 4-star. And and since it's tied to debuff, that damage multiplier is applied to, basically the entire team. So that's why I compared it to Sandayu, like applying weakness in the 3x3 range. Yeah, I'm not really quite too sold on how to like use this on, the big, wide, and tall maps, but for vertical, it was like very, very decent. Like, you can easily do above like 20k with just like some shitty team with like McCroy and Valentine Serter. So yeah.
I see. You know, I saw the multiplier and I like saw that it could do a lot of damage, but like for some reason I was just focused on his personal damage. I guess it didn't really enter my mind that anyone could activate it at any time for some reason. So yeah, he does essentially outbreak those down to you, except with crappier rates. I guess that's part of the reason why I didn't fully realize it at the time, because, you know, 50% means I'm not gonna be relying on that personally.
Yeah, I guess I'll just say it out loud because I thought it was like kind of like weird. Is that because he applies it to the entire board, like if you're on like a wide map, your allies can apply craziness to, like, you know, on this side that Nyarl isn't even on. Like, you can have like some weird Kresnik 4 on like the right side of the map, and he can give craziness to enemies, which is like kind of a weird thing to think about. And that's why I was like trying to pair him with Akiha, but nobody has Akiha anymore on support. But,
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good supports put on water slots, so I can't blame them.
And I had one thought that I didn't complete, I think. It's that the only weird thing about this skill evolution is that it's actually kind of at odds with his like current existing kit, in the sense that he already gives fear to people after he's been hit, and like his playstyle in my mind is that, you know, you just move him to the top, and he gets hit a lot after getting evasion activated. And yeah, and everybody has fear, everybody has dazzle. So yeah, this craziness, I'm not quite too sure like how useful it is for like cheese stuff when he already has fear.
Well,
but that's just my thoughts.
As you pointed out, it's like it's not just him that can apply craziness at that point, it's everyone because of the effect. So it could be good for like the other side of the board while he fears his. But yeah, it's
for the damage stuff, I'm very impressed. Like the chance stuff, like it's like pretty consistent because you're attacking enemies pretty much twice a lot. So yeah, I'm fine with this skill evolution.
Yeah, I think it's pretty neat too. Maybe not at first sight, but yeah, I always thought craziness was neat. I'm not sure if they're gonna continue doing this, but there was one time I managed to use that craziness where fear didn't work because the enemies happened to be immune to every single movement disabling debuff except for craziness, because that didn't outright block them. So I feel if LifeWonders always lets craziness, you know, slip through the cracks in the future for these immunities to movement debuffs, it can be quite strong. And in a way, yeah, it was with the Shiva one. But yeah, it's when I was looking over this kit, I was more focused on exploiting craziness as much as possible as a result, because, you know, I'm more interested in the effect of craziness of not the flat damage, because honestly I forget that exists half the time, but the making them unable to move forward. And yeah, I would have personally just suggested to take advantage of that, bringing a unit that can just hit everyone immediately on turn one. So all range units like Christmas Benten or regular Kalki was a debuff, or the many turn one charge setups we have nowadays. And then you can even consider maintaining it with Jurong charge, because once Jurong gets his charge, he pretty much always has it as long as there's enough enemies.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that, like, all range. I was testing with the all range people and like CS people. Christine, who's also Ninja Tainer, surprisingly, kind of fits. I think it's also good to pair him with people who push enemies away, because that's kind of like what craziness is all about. It's just like
making them unable to advance. Yeah, that would enhance the stalling for sure. Like keep your units in the back out of range.
Which is why I mentioned Akiha for the people who didn't really like understand what I was going for him. Yeah, you can use like people like Nightglow's Kuragane if you want on vertical. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Granted, not all, a lot of the challenge quests out there, if they require movement, they're going to use a movement effect rather than have them actually move through on their turn, which, will not be affected by craziness, I'm pretty sure. So, it's still going to work in every case, but it's something to keep your mind out in case you want something cheesy. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Nyarlathotep that Milk did not specifically cover.
My last thought is that while I was testing it with Macroihi, I think the one reason why I was impressed is that like Macroihi was like doing like some stupid numbers. Like he was doing like 66k damage for like raw.
I gotta say, personally, I really love how much you're trying to make McCroy quirk.
I feel like people like shat on him so much, and then he's like popping off with this like 600k damage CS, and I'm like, where did this come from?
I mean, I covered him, and there was a lot to cover in his discussion. It's just that it was kind of not super focused necessarily, that it might have been a bit hard to see the best use cases for him. But yeah, it seems like you're making him shine quite well.
Yeah. So for like Nyarl, get your team to hit enemies a lot. He's gonna give like this three times weakening effect, which lasts for 2 turns. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You just move him like once every so often, get that craziness weakening off, and then yeah, your team is gonna do like 3 times more damage, which is quite solid for a 4-star.
Damn. Yeah, I would agree. 50% is a bit shaky, but other than that, yeah, it's a lot for a 4-star, honestly. You might want to consider bringing Nyarlathotep to your dailies, everyone. Then again, we have a lot of other options, so maybe not. But, he's up there something, if you know how to play with him anyways. But yeah, those are all my thoughts I already covered from before, and I'm guessing that was all yours too?
Yeah. That's
okay.
Basically all my thoughts.
Okay, thank you. You can cover the comments now, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
Edwin said hello. That was the last thing I said.
Hello. Question mark exclamation point. Oh, I think that's because
it said Harvey. Sorry, I did like, short-term memory and all that.
I got so confused, LMAO. Yeah. I forgot Nyarl got one dispatch. Yeah, he's kind of like but okay. OMG, I'm a guest on Ara's stream. What face is this? I forget. Combo on Nyarl would be sweet. That and stacking him with Night Gaunt's mobs, I suppose. I wouldn't go so far as to run Night Gaunt's mobs, but you don't really need combo on Nyarl, you just need combo on anybody. So yeah, like you can do combo Kalki, you can do combo Xmas Benton, and it's all pretty solid. Honestly, like just playing naturally is like fine as well. So yeah, I would remove the thought about like Night Gaunt mobs or like
it's a bit redundant at the point.
Running combo, because you can just like play like with like some jank ass team and you'll get it off. Oh wow, I actually made another stream and not like 2 hours late. I mean, oh wow, Ara has a YouTube channel? I should subscribe.
Shut the fuck up, editor. He does this every single time.
Crazy works well with pushback to keep the distance. Yeah, I've only been theory crafting with that, just because like, I don't know, it's kind of like weird.
I mean, it's funny, but it's oftentimes, even when it does work, it's not relevant.
Yeah, I think you have to tailor it to the situation. So like, if the situation comes up, then yeah, you want to run this.
Just another tool for Arsenal.
Summer Seth found a new partner. Kinda. I'm kinda on this. Nyarl only has to move like once every 2 turns, so yeah, this could be pretty good. Yeah, I guess so. Zurong, Nyarl, Halloween Azathoth.
I mean, I see
yeah,
Zurong,
that makes
but
sense because of like the weapon change, like long slash. Like,
oh yeah! Forgetting these things, you write these discussions.
I think they kind of like patched some of that like weapon change immunity in, so it's not like as like
Busted.
game breaking on like the older class. But yeah, if the enemies aren't immune to his weapon change, then sure, you can do that. Nyarl can be in the missionaries and entertainers because of his clones. There's actually some lore reason, but I don't really know the specifics. But yeah, didn't know it was pronounced Macroihi and not Macroch. I called it Macroihi because that's kind of like the Japanese pronunciation. It's like some of my pronunciation of like some names are like is like weird. Like I call
Tvastar.
I call like Kuchi like Kashi because like in the game that's how you pronounce the name.
Well, that's how the Japanese pronounce it because they have a limited syllabary, but it'd be more accurate to say Kushi. But Kuchi is just a joke.
Yeah, so if you hear me like say some like name like weird, I don't really know off the top of my head which name I pronounce weird. But yeah, it's because I usually follow the Japanese pronunciation. Also, hi Milk. Green heart. Yay. It is Macroch, but with that French like accent. I don't actually know how they pronounce it for real. So I'm just gonna keep saying Macroihi because that's how he says his name. Okay, I think that's all the comments.
Yes, it is. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Let's see. We will now be covering Korpokkur, whose Evo is actually, like, I'm surprised they even ever released this, and I've been waiting for an Evo like this for a long time. Not even an Evo, just a skill that had this. So he originally had Freeze, and now that Freeze has turned into a Sackable, and that cycles over a 4-turn clock. So that means he can stack 4 freezes, which means he can get a multiplier that just keeps on scaling and scaling. Altogether, if he has all 4 freezes up, that would be a 23 times multiplier damage just by himself. Kind of ridiculous. And if you happen to give him another freeze, because his freezes are all stackable, it actually excludes the original generally non-stackable freeze. If you also inflict another freeze on top of that, then that would be a 50 times multiplier. Now, he can't inflict that by himself, so but I'll tell you the reason why that's important to know for now later. But all you need to know is that he does a ridiculous amount of damage self-sufficiently if you allow him to build up to it. Unfortunately, it's only an 80% rate, but you can boost his rates as you wish, and you could maintain them when they activate if you decide to bring Jurong up. Jurong is, I feel, is becoming like a namesake whenever any sort of strong debuff comes up. So good on him. And I would also suggest, surprisingly, to consider, it's not necessarily super important, but to consider bringing Halloween Kushi as well with him for his freeze effects, just to amplify the damage over time from freeze, because it adds up. That's like 4 or 5 freezes if you have it total, depending on if you have the original freeze too. And if you remember, I believe it amplifies the damage over time by 3 times. Is that right, Milk? You there, Milk? Well, I guess
I just muted myself. Yeah. Arslan is 2 times and Kuchi is 3 times.
Right. Do you remember what the damage was from freeze? I'm pretty sure, like, overall it should be at least 3k damage with that multiplier.
I thought it was like 300 for freeze, but I could look it up.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
it wasn't like very big, but
yeah, it's not big, but when it's stackable, it adds up. You're essentially multiplying it, and then you're multiplying it again with Halloween's Kushi's effect to multiply dots over time. So that's, for once, we have an effect that's not just an
400.
Yeah, 400, 400, 800. Okay, if you have 5 of those, then that is 2,000. And if you multiply that 3, that'd be 6k. So you could be applying 6k damage over time if you happen to have all 5 freezes up and Kushi present.
I mean, the thing is going to die by then.
I mean, challenge quests. Who knows? So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't even read out the rest of the effects yet. Yeah, he also has one of those nomad imperatives again, where if he doesn't affect whether he decides to move or not, but he gets a second chance to roll at it if he does move. And this roll is guaranteed, so you don't need to skill seed for him. He reduces 1k HP for enemies 3 squares ahead of him, within a 3 square diamond range, that is. And also another k for enemies within 2 square diamond range. So that means within a 2 square diamond range, he's effectively producing 2k damage per effect. So that means 4k damage per effect, which if you apply it with his turn start abilities and his after attacking abilities, I didn't do the math beforehand, I guess that's 2,000, 4,000, 7,000, and his turn start stuff is... what is his turn start reduction? Another 1,000. So that should be 8k HP down every single turn for the units directly within 2 squares in front of him that he's able to hit. So within thrust range, I guess. And yeah, that's just the summary of him. He's quite a fun unit to just keep in place and reduce the units in front of him by a lot if you decide to move him, especially those in thrust range. And for freeze, let's get back to freeze. I'm basically just done talking about what his skill evolution entailed, but now I want to talk about what I'd recommend with it. Besides the Howling Kushiar and besides Zhurong, I'd also recommend, well, this was actually Milk's idea, but I tried to look for it before, but I forgot it existed, and the wiki was that. There is an AR that actually amplifies your freeze multiplier damage by 1.4 times, and it's only 3 stars. Now, granted, Korpokkur himself can't equip it, but it doesn't matter because everyone can benefit from freeze within your team to attack the enemy. So, if he only has 4 freezes up, those 4 stackable freezes, and that's multiplied with the 1.4 times advantage against each freeze from that 3-star AR, that increases your normally 23 times damage to a whopping 90 times damage. And if he has that one additional freeze, regular freeze up, and it's maintained by Zhurong, then that increases the multiplier from 51 times to a fucking ridiculous 277 times. It's just... that is hilariously busted. The only thing that makes this not completely busted is just that he... it takes 4 turns to get up to, and also, if you want that extra fees, you're going to need another dedicated unit to do it. But I'm very, very happy we finally have a stackable damage multiplier. I was, it was probably going to be a debuff anyways, but theoretically any sort of thing should have a stackable version. Like we had stackable poison before, and we had a stackable burn. We've never had one that was based on scaling damage before, no stackable buffs. So this is the first stackable debuff that scales damage. It's quite strong at 277 times and a maximum multiplier with the right AR. Alright, those are pretty much all my thoughts on this. Any other thoughts, Milk?
I don't really like scaling over time, so I don't quite see the stuff about like being busted in the comments. Like you already have Linan who like applies 3 buffs like all at once. But I mean like stackable freeze is unique. Yeah, it's just that like the things that scale over time aren't like really popular. Like if it was popular, you would see like Hero 4 clears, right?
Yeah, for sure. This is like,
So,
Aiur kind of tier.
I mean, I
kind
think
of
it's strong. I think it's strong. Like it's like stackable freeze, but like I wouldn't say it's like busted in the sense that like the meta right now is like not to wait for shit to happen. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
to,
for sure. I mean, busted in the
Well,
sense of just looking at the numbers by themselves without context.
Yeah.
And it's not too hard to get them. You just have to wait a few turns.
Maybe it's because I'm reading the comments and they're all saying it's like.
Oh, I
like,
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not quite too sure about that assessment. I think it's strong, but like Corp kind of like sucked previously. So yeah.
I mean, he still had a lot of meme uses even before now, and his base flat damage usage is even stronger now. So that's neat.
Yeah, like the minus 1k to like, was it minus 2 or 3k because you can like, or like minus 1 to 5k, I guess, because you can move him as well, and he's in like different ranges. Is like, okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a. Well, I guess that's one way to settle our excitement over this Evo. No, I still think he's strong. He's obviously not going to be an all-use case. I'd still rather use Lianon to just blow everyone up right away. But then again, I don't even really use Lian for challenge quests anymore because challenge quests have gotten a lot more specific. Korpokkur would be a lot more of a must-have, for example, in quests that strongly penalize what's called damage scaling buffs somehow, because he doesn't have any himself, but he still scales damage by debuffs. So keep an eye for those kind of challenges.
I see as Corp as like a stall strategy kind of person, right?
I mean, I guess in that sense, it's
like if you're not running,
it's synergistic with how he was already used.
Like if you're not running too wrong, you just like you just like keep him, and then just like stall for quite a bit.
I mean, theoretically, you can keep up zone freezes too.
Like those like 3 freezes. So yeah, or is it 4? I forget.
Does any unit have advantage against freeze?
Any unit have advantage against freeze? I would check, but the wiki is fucking broken.
Anyways, I feel like there may be, but I can't remember, and the wiki's broken. But if they can equip the
beachside Volos and all of the Alice Skivo stuff at the very least.
Okay, well, beachside Volos can okayishly benefit, but it's probably not as good as just equipping this 3-star AR. However, just keep in mind the restrictions for that is just the Zao and Churn and Blow units, so it's not the largest range, but something to keep in mind.
I mean, like, the Alice Skivo is, like, pretty good, right?
Yeah, but,
she applies it to, like, everybody, so, right?
The Alice Skivo?
You know, the Halloween Alice Skivo?
Oh, yeah! I covered that, you're right. So, the one that makes every Volos, yeah.
Yeah.
The Purge.
At the very least, that. I thought it was gonna be Onsen Kamui, but he's just actually immune to it. So yeah.
I see. Well, if anyone ever becomes immune to, or strong against freeze, and they happen to be below range, just watch out because they can equip the AR, and then we're talking possibly thousands of a multiplier into thousands at that point, which actually just like goes through evasion and more. But if that's all our thoughts for this, then I will cover the comments. Any other thoughts? But
no, let's just move on.
All right. Let's see. It is like a French accent. We read that. Milk speaks English. Like Fergus is greater than McRoik. Who's Fergus? Isn't that the same person? Yeah, it is. Korpokkur got one. Sickening. Also, call McRoik what I call him, Big Mac. Licho privilege is still a thing. Can't escape it. Well, everyone just caught up to how strong Daichis were recently. Well, not everyone, but it's no longer just the Daichi thing. But Daichis are still reveling in the sunshine, as you see. F them kids. No, protect them. Of course, you're Daichi and busted. Yes, of course. If Daichi Bites is real, why is Kotaro 5 garbage? I can't deny that fully. I mean, his Evo was pretty neat, but it's just like I don't really see myself using it. It was like Bind or something when he gets hit or something in Darkness, and it was some nice damage mitigation, but in the end it was still dependent on Invasion, which I wasn't a big fan of. Evasion on move of all things. Jamboree farm quests are shaking in their boots. I don't remember the farm quests, but I guess I remember the meta.
It was this really awful, like, wide quest farming where, like, Corp was all on the complete right side of the screen, and then your only like DPS was like was it Jamboree Shiro?
Oh yeah, was it the ones where they were actually pushed left and right of each other?
What do you mean?
Like all the enemies were like to the right or to the left?
Yeah, like the first phase of Wine Quest was like Corp and all these like World Kyramantep on the complete right side of the screen, and like my best DPS in that was actually fucking 4-star Choji, due to like Jamboree Shiro's like vigor, and Corpse Freeze.
This sounded like a pleasant experience to grind.
It was like a 3-minute long farming quest, which is like really sad.
I feel like I erase my memory of these drop quests as soon as possible. You know what?
Well, it's gonna come back.
I guess it happened. True. I wonder what Evos will get for that. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Jamboree farm quests searching for new boots. I remember the meta of sending Korpokkur into Yolks of Sloth dungeon. Well, I wouldn't say Korpokkur's meta to take into dungeons again, but he's definitely a strong contender now, since dungeons do take a while. Would have been great at making level 70 dungeons even easier when he was a thing, but now with level 80 and mentors, he'll continue to run my 5-star Oubliette. Not sure what Upiat is, but that is a very big vocabulary you have, and fair enough. I mean, it's Korpokkur being a centralized unit to bring to dungeons was only incidental, but his function of just being like a unit that like chips over time is still there, and well, because it's so cold. Hey, Law. I never know when Korpokkur uses evasion on the beginning of battle. Does he have evasion in the beginning? I'm pretty sure it's only when he misses. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when he misses. He actually charges a lot of CP when he misses too.
Yeah, I remember using him for that. It's just, it's nice to cheese out and then push them back and drain their HP as you... It's kind of I feel a bit bad for the enemy whenever, you rely on such a cheesy strat.
Yeah, I actually, I'm kind of, sad that they didn't, buff his, missing capability more. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was considering mentioning it for one of the ARs later, the one that increased your proc rate, but I was like, It's like, they're better use than that. Just a fancy way of saying dungeon. Yeah. No, not quite. Missionaries only have a few DPS, the rest are supports. Prison, where it's a hole in the ground. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by that picture. Yeah, I guess those are all the comments. Let's just move on to the skill evolutions of volume 25 now. Wow, we are taking quite a bit. Alright, go ahead. Tezcatlipoca.
Okay. Since we're taking quite a bit of a while, Tez is super fast. He basically just applies Vigor and applies this flat damage to enemies in shot range. 5k flat damage, if you do not move him. Which includes, of course, fearing. You can't drag him using another person you've moved. And the Vigor is 1 square round to allies, and it's at a 90% rate, so it's very consistent and it's very solid. Yeah, it's a very straightforward Skivo, and that's pretty much it. Honestly, I think the thing that people don't really understand about Tez, in my opinion, is that he's actually a defensive unit. He has Darkness and Dazzle, after being hit and stuff. So he's more in line with the person who offensively buffs your defensive team. So this Vigor that happens if you don't move him is actually quite good, because now he's pumping out Vigor and Berserk Plus if you're stalling with him long enough. And you don't really need to not move him every single turn. It's only you only need to not furry him once every 3 turns. So it's a very solid skill evolution, I think. That's basically it. I run him with Marcosius, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about this. It's kind of just like Attack Up and Berserk. He is able to steal those buffs back, I guess. So
yeah, you can steal it back, but it's up to status list RNG. And most of the time when you try to steal it back, it's going to be
some other buff. Yeah,
it's going to be Vigor now.
Oh, that's good.
Not Berserk Plus. Because I used to steal move him to steal Berserk Plus.
If that's the case, then that means you can take Berserk Plus in the subsequent turn after that, or because it's if you move, you can steal, then you'll get bigger, or have moved. So interesting.
Yeah, you move Tez when you want to kill somebody, with his CS or something.
Yes. So you have the option of amplifying his damage to his own buffs he gives to allies, or just keeping him in place and letting your allies retain Berserk and Vigor. But however, only be stealing 1 buff at a time, so he's not coming out both at the same time.
Also, I said status list RNG, but you can check what you steal, because you can pull up the status list before you move him. So yeah, that's something to consider. If people don't know, basically what you want to do when you use Tezcatlipoca is that you highlight by putting your finger on all of your
You mean press the icon on the UI
press
on
the
left?
Icon. Yeah. You press the icon on your teammates, and you check the first status on the buff on the status list that's removable, and that's what Tez is going to steal. So I actually did it once in the Jiangxi run where I showed that off, but yeah, basically you want to like check what you steal if you decide to move Tez. Most of the time it's going to be Vigor in my case though, but if you get both Vigor and Berserk Plus and Tez is going to do a CS, good for you.
Yeah, that'd be a bit weird if some of your allies had Vigor but others had Berserk Plus as their first one. But I guess it could happen somehow, in some way.
Well, you can have innate Vigor somehow, but yeah. And like the timing is like, what is it? There is like sometimes where like some of your teammates have Vigor and sometimes when like some don't. So like there could be like different timings for the Vigor, but not for Berserk Plus.
Yeah, it's a very peculiar skill evolution. It's like he steals back more things now, and he can do more damage for himself. But I don't know. It seems a bit weird overall to his kit.
I think it's personally fine because like to me he's just a defensive unit. So like if he can like offensively buff his team more, like Vigor and Berserk Plus is like not really something to scoff at, I think.
Yeah,
is it something that I would use? Yeah, I think Tez 5 is actually kind of fun to play with. So yeah, I would use it. But not for like farming. Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of better options for farming now. Like Nomad Sunny. By the way, we only discovered this like outside of stream much later. Nomad got an update to his kit. So in our previous discussion, we talked about how Nomad only gave penetration to defense buffs excluding evasion. That was LifeWonders Boo Boo apparently. They updated it so that it can now penetrate evasion, which actually makes Nomad a lot stronger. He's actually on par, if not better than, the likes of Kurugane in terms of tall map farming now, because they're outright able to penetrate evasion, everyone is, and with all that scaling damage.
Oh, I actually forgot to mention this. Yeah, this Vigor actually kind of rounds out like Xmas Nomad in particular. I thought it was just kind of funny because you can get like concentration Vigor and like the limit from Xmas Nomad. And this Tez has attack up after buff. So yeah, kind of funny.
He steals concentration from Nomad? Pardon?
No, I mean like if you like do some setup where like Tez 5 buffs the entire team with Vigor, right?
Yeah.
Then you're getting Vigor, concentration, and limit on your team, right? If you run Xmas Nomad. That's basically it.
Yeah, that's
like,
fairly
you can
strong.
Basically use any like Vigor unit, but I thought it was kind of funny in the case of regular Tez. Yeah.
That is pretty interesting. Okay, if that's all our thoughts, then you are free to comment now. Because it was very short.
Which one is Toby going? Prison. Tezcatlipoca equals smoking mirror is true. Yeah, he says a lot of mirror quotes in his voice lines. Like his after buff skill activation line that he keeps like shouting is basically like reflect, as in like a mirror. A neat interaction is that Homebrew Tigre's forced movement gimmick allows you to still use unmoved skills. Yeah, that forced movement doesn't really count for some reason.
Well, it's because it only applies to the movement phase, and that's not part of the movement phase.
Yeah. I still don't really use 4-star Homebrew Tigre. I don't think anybody really does unless they like really force it.
It could happen one day if they decide to make Madness a really annoying debuff against the player.
Yeah, I guess like if there's like a time where you had to like chase an enemy, like they just like apply like push back or something, and then they like go to the back row maybe.
You could also use a regular Nomad, who's like 3 squares forward now. What the fuck is that range? It's hilarious.
You still move him to a near unit. He still steals your team's buffs if he near them. Yeah, that's why you don't move Tez unless you know what you're doing. And it's most of the time that people are moving Tez because they don't know what they're doing, or if they're new. The era of Amigo. Keep forgetting his voices like Dio from JoJo and Safer. I didn't play Final Fantasy VIII. From Final Fantasy VIII. Cypher? safer.
Don't ask me, I didn't play it either.
So is Tez just Xmas Ager at home? Yeah, this is the problem, is that people keep thinking that he's like Xmas Ager, so they keep stealing their like team's buffs. But no, he's like a defensive unit, and Xmas Ager is offensive. Tez holding a gunblade with a red blade on the inside from Final Fantasy VIII. Okay. I don't know the reference.
Alright.
He can penetrate evasion. Yeah, he can. So Xmas Nomad is very good for farming vertical quests. LMAO mark. Exactly. Penetrate evasion means they ignore evasion. Yes, that is true. I just made a noise.
I mean, it is a pretty important like thing to discover.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like really good. Yeah. He basically has the Vargas AR in his kit. Yeah, and it's to allies too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Good. Nomad penetrates. He just ignores the evasion and does a huge damage. Like he bypasses the hacking system. Nomad Xmas? Yes, it's Xmas Nomad we're talking about. Xmas Nomad is good. Yes.
Yes.
He's good.
We say in the not Christmas stream. Okay. Those are all the comments. Fairly quick, which is good because there's almost nothing for us to talk about anyways. But yeah, let's just move on to Ketchi, the second unit of this batch. Yeah, Ketchi. Let me just scroll down to my notes for that. Yeah, so normally Ketchi's ability grants him 2 different buffs per turn in a 6-turn clock, alternating between every turn tick of that clock. And it's kind of not really worth remembering the order unless you're a super big Ketchi fan. But that particular effect has been buffed from 40% to 60%. And in addition, now when he has 50 CP or over, he will be granting one of those buffs listed in the graphic here, as you can see, in the same kind of turn order to his allies that are 1 square around him. It's not the highest rate. I mean, it's higher than his other rate at 80%, so you're not always going to get it. But, you know, it's okay. I don't have to, even though it's like, you can see this graphic is very, very cluttered in terms of effects. There's not much to say about it. He just gives half of those buffs away to his allies, and it wasn't really controllable in the first place. All I can say about this is maybe consider bringing buff retainers. You know, the ones that can maintain buffs that last for 2 or more turns. So this can either include an Itsam Tangoro setup or a Jiangxi Krampus setup, because that means they can enjoy all those buffs at the same time combined. But in practice, that means you'll only really be benefiting from Spirit, Blessing, Nullify, Debuff in combo, so not exactly super critical to want to keep up. Yeah, you can find those buffs otherwise. Combo is really good, of course, so it's nice to have another combo bestower, but it's every 6 turns, so not exactly something super reliable. That's literally not my thoughts, by the way. Anything to add, Milk?
Yeah. I kind of like Keiichi, even though like nobody really likes his kit. Because I kind of see him also as like just a defensive kit. Like you
with
just
Dazzle.
run him with like, yeah. Well, it's Dazzle and Nullify debuff, a Nullify buff. I think Nullify buff is kind of good because it can like nullify some damage.
True.
And he also has the CP drain, so I used him quite a bit for that as well. Yeah. So this is just like a basic like proc rate increase. I haven't really tested it in practice to know like how good this proc rate is increase like affects his gameplay. But honestly, he's just somebody you like stall out with him. So yeah, I think this is just fine. Like if you like running him, then sure. I'm just gonna keep doing it.
I just realized I like how you didn't even mention anything about the specific Evo.
The specific
like,
Evo?
Yeah, you know, it's just like his rate's
Well,
up.
I mean like the rate. I mean the rate increased. He gives some of the stuff to allies. I think 4 out of the 6 were good. Like Spirit is stupid and Blessing is like whatever. Like Protection, Nullify, Debuff, Combo, and Limit are like fine. Protection maybe not so, but like I don't know. There's some times when I liked Protection. Yeah.
Noted
I'm kind of
here,
disappointed in the sense
Milk
that
does not like using protection. Sorry, go on.
Well, it's because I run like Jamboree Kagu, who like always has protection up. So yeah. What is it? I kind of dislike the fact that it's behind this CP conditional, because that means that you can't just like sacrifice somebody to get him to join to apply combo. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think the plus 50 is actually kind of easy to gain.
I mean, you can just do Ryota, right? There's lots of ways to get 50 right away.
Well, it's because like half of the time his like CS is like very like short ranged. Like it's either blow or wide slash. So
yeah, but one of them is all range, so it's a bit, yeah, you can't miss eventually.
Well, I mean, like part of his kit to me is that like you like doll out the weapon change, the CS weapon change phases. So there's kind of like some built-in like retain this like 100 CP mechanism in. If you land on like those odd turns, I think, or was it the even turns? I think it's the even turns, because I remember like crit plus being on like the shitty CS weapon change turns. Yeah, I think crit plus is turn 2. Yeah, so yeah, the even turns are the ones where he has the shit weapon change, where it's like blower, wide slash, long slash.
Well, you know, in this case, they're not shit, they're useful for being missable, but yeah.
In what way?
So that you can miss, so that you can keep up your turn start effects for.
Oh yeah, you could do it before, because he had like evasion to himself when he missed, so that's why I liked it. Because he could kind of like, it's like a 80% evasion when he misses too, right? So it's very high.
Oh, well, I guess that's his one redeeming factor. I didn't realize it was that high, or I mean, I probably did, but I just forgot.
Well, that's why I run him in like defensive strats, is that he has like some baked in like defensiveness. Yeah.
Kind of wish they just gave all the buffs, both buffs every turn rather, so that, you know.
Well, I guess that would be fine, because like Temujin had like this fucking stupid crit plus, so yeah.
I guess. Okay, well, yeah, Catchy is catchy. He's still cute, but you know. Good luck using him, I guess, still. Yeah, he got a defensive unit, but other than that, the Evo itself, it's kind of just there. I'll just go ahead and read the comments now, since I'm assuming you have nothing else to say, since you were doing most of the talking just now.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add.
It's fine, it's catchy. It's catchy shit. Yeah, it's Catchy the cat. His page is growing. Yeah, it's sooner or later, eventually, after a few more evos, his skill info box you can see here is just gonna be a line vertically. Let's see, Catchy is the cutest Toastway unit, hands down. Even better than Ego. No, they're both cute, but the cutest hands down is Jurong. I'm sorry, but they lose hands down. I thought Catchy was cute. I was like, oh, he's so cute, and I forgot on the next event. You know who's the cutest that remained cute? Jurong. He's the best. Look him up. He's from the Hot Springs event. That was recent. Anyways, Mushu Texo. That is correcto. His name was the same one in Final Fantasy VII, with a different pronunciation in his name. No, Catchy is the correct one. I made sure to look it up. If they're pronouncing it differently in Final Fantasy VII, then that means they're just mispronouncing it. Looking cool, Catchy. Posts the Smoky God crappy rate sticker. Yeah, I guess that's amazing. The way his skill evolution is longer than Gennarva's entire kit, and yet I feel like they still do about the same amount. Wait, Catchy's voice actor was Ikue Otani. That I found it in Vivi's voice actor from Final Fantasy IX. Was everyone playing every single Final Fantasy game ever? I don't recognize these references. Maybe it's just law. Also, I think buff stealers will snatch Ket's second set of buffs, so that's neat, I guess. Yeah, I was mentioning that before. Well, not buff stealers. Yeah, you know, that's a good point. I forgot units like Iger and who's another unit steals? Tezcatlipoca exists. So that is a valid point, but they don't necessarily benefit more than they did pre-Evo. So
yeah, Xmas Iger was like brought up. Was he brought up with like Keishi? That was he after or before? He's before, right?
He should have been after. Mystic Christmas was ages ago, whereas this festival was like happened after, but you know, it received a reprint
Yeah,
earlier.
this festival had Tomty, so yeah,
Yeah.
like this was after.
We probably
Yeah,
mentioned it, but the fact that no one has done that yet just goes to show that it's probably not as useful as
yeah.
we're imagining.
I mean, like, yeah, because like there's no reason to wait for like a 40% crit plus at the time.
Yeah, and also, even if you do happen to roll them all, it's like, it's only, you're not refreshing them. They're gonna disappear very quickly right after.
Yeah, so like, yeah, it wasn't very good in practice. So like, yeah.
Well, you know, thank you for trying
You
hard.
just stalled out.
It's fine.
You just stalled with them instead, I think.
Yeah, that's true. No, it was valid input. It could work if one day we manage to have a setup that can both steal and refresh. You'll need Licht for that, though, in a way. Let's see. Wait, Ketchi's voice actor. I already did that because I'm a dumbass. It's also Pikachu. Yeah, that's why he's so cute, voice actor-wise. Jurong's still cute, voice actor-wise, though. But Final Fantasy 9 had voice acting. Oh my gosh, these references. Is from this video, another reference. I was thinking of Kingdom Hearts 2, another reference. He wasn't talking in Kingdom Hearts 2 for some reason. Jesus Christ, you guys, and your on my Wii references to video games that I've never played. Yes, King, give us those 60% proc rates. Yeah, I don't know why it's still so low. It feels like if he even got it at like 100%, it still wouldn't be that great. So it's like, why restrict to 60%? Maybe we'll get a unit that can increase buff turns, making Ket somewhat decent. Increase buff turns? Oh, you mean like the duration? That's an interesting concept, but
I feel
like they wouldn't do that because we already have buff refreshment, and we also have custom buffs that have you know, the same buff but at different durations, like weapon change. I think they did it for reasons because you know, they wanted them to specific in a specific way, and behave in a specific way if they're refreshed. So extending them might be a bit buggy in that case.
Yeah, I don't want that with like Hermes, like CS buff.
It'd be so busted. With evasion as well. Maybe we'll get a unit that can increase buff turns, making Ketchi. I already read that twice. I thought Ketchi's voice was related to Sync from Final Fantasy Type 0. Jesus Christ, you guys. Not like Tanga and Itsam, though. No, and we know what you mean. Like, actually extended the duration, and we just give our thoughts. Christmas Iger was released way before. That is true, and his event will be reprinted years from now, I'm sure. Now, you could see all Ketchi's buffs, or you could use any other buffer to snatch from. Yeah, that's always the issue, isn't it? Christmas Iger was 2019. This event was released autumn 2020. Thank you for recapping that. Also off topic, but do you think Iger does ASMR with his claws/nails? His ASMR is his voice. Listen to his lullaby where he says, "My honey," and watch your knees buckle. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have played along with that. Anyway, let's just continue to the next Evo. And the last Evo of the patch, I believe. So, go ahead, Milk.
Yeah. This Evo is fucking shit. Yeah. This is Tvastar. He adds this like if unmoved condition, where he gives CS weapon change slot to an ally in front of him, limit to the ally in front of him, and basically Mecha Man for 6 turns to the allies in slash range in front of him. So I have a lot of problems with this skill evolution, and the main reason is that the way I saw Tvastar before the skill evolution was that he's kind of like a budget like Rust unit nuker, like if you didn't have F Lacan, like Fashionista Lacan. So like the fact that like there's this if unmoving condition where he like wants to be in the back line, so now he's like effectively blow range if he does hit an enemy, and like you can't move him like if unmoved, means that he's like really like weird to utilize. So like instead of like buffing his like natural capabilities, they added like the secondary role where he can buff his allies with Mecha Man and Limit. It's not a very particularly like wide range of Limit, and the Mecha Man is like whatever. Like maybe you get a free tenacity, and maybe that could be pretty good. The Limit synergizes with his like guts application to allies, But honestly, this guts thing wasn't very strong in the first place. What else is there to say? So the main thing is the CS weapon change shot. I've been trying to think of situations where you want to use this, and honestly, like, I've been like really failing to like think of like really good stuff to use. I can think of stuff like Summer Shiva, Efocon, like Festival of Furufumi, like we did with Licho's all range.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, yeah, I don't like this if unmoving condition.
Because too restrictive?
Well, it's because you can't get it on demand, right? Like, if your Tvastar is out of place, right? You can't like just move him to the back to like, you know, change the shot range, right?
True.
Like you have to have like Tvastar like already there before you can like change it to shock. Does that kind of make sense?
No, I get what you're saying. It's like it's gonna be shot range, which means you're gonna need to aim in the proper column to actually hit enemies.
Have to aim in the proper column like beforehand. That's the problem.
But then it doesn't allow you if unmoved. You have to like waste a turn just to reposition him.
Yeah, so that's why I really dislike the Schivo. The other thing is that because of that roll thing where he's like a thrust nuker, right? If you want to move him to the back, he's just gonna do nothing, right? And that's the waste turning. That's the turn wasting thing that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. So like the fact that it's like CS shot range, you like it, like the fact that it's like this if unmoving condition where you like waste a turn to like position stuff to get things right, it's just like really weird. I think the only like funny thing is that you can kind of use this as like a way to what is it, avoid some all range CS. So an example of this is like
seriously avoid all range CS. That's a new one.
Yeah, some examples of this is like Licho's Evo and like Timogene's Schivo, right? Like that, like for the crit plus thing, right? Because now they're like effectively thrust range if he's like in the very back and Timogene's like in the middle. So instead of like being all range, right, his CS. Well, I don't know what Temujin because of like the weird status list stuff. You can like try to like cheese this with like to get crit plus every so often, like forever, if there's no enemies in thrust range. But I don't actually know in practice because I don't have Tvastar. So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny if you could pull that off. Even then, though, it's like at an 80% rate, all of this stuff. So it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
I know that he has like glint and concentration, but it's like, what? Why? Why not just like
make it guaranteed because it's not even busted? And limit's nice, but it's only to 1 unit.
I don't know. It's just like I don't really understand what situation do you want to use CS weapon change shot? That's like the problem that I have with it. It's like limit is fine.
I can think of like a few cases. Well, you already mentioned them, but if they ever decided to make large bosses again, then you don't technically need to move. You know where they're going to be the entire time, and you just need to keep him in place there, right? So that's one case, I guess. I
mean, the other thing that it could be good use for is like, yeah, it's again missing all range CS in the sense that if you want to like save up beach guitar or something, but it's just like I don't know, right?
Probably better just to use the AR. That's for that, which we can talk about.
Yeah,
we'll be talking about soon.
So I thought that's just like a whatever. It's just like I don't really know what they were going for. I don't want to think about it too hard. I think it's just shit.
Okay. Well, you know, my thoughts are similar with you. Just pair them with units that are, you know, that have strong charges but are, you know, were originally short range, like Fashionista, Wakantanka, River Shiva, even Smoky God, and so you can just, you know, multiply the effects that they provide, and what's it called? You can make anyone a Guts Limit user now. I mean, you could have done that with Lianin. But, you know, I guess if you don't want to use Lianin for some reason, you can then decide to use a Tashta for, like, units such as that damage themselves and are themselves damage healers, like Christmas Jiraiya and Tindalos. And you can also equip on that whatever benefactor Tosh does abilities, the Pollux Bathymeor, which is something we covered in Christmas Showdown, which gives a crit plus 2 units below 50% HP, I believe, something like that. So yeah, I don't have too much to say about the shot range change part, but it could be feasibly useful against large bosses. The issue is, like, large boss challenge quests have been rather rare a lot lately.
Well, there's you wrong, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna read the comments.
Okay, got it.
TV star, me beloved. Yeah, I thought this character was kind of fun. Isn't this basically his challenge quest phase, but bad? I agree on the bad. I guess it's kind of like his challenge quest phase, so I guess you're right. Tvastar. Oh, I think I have his 4-star. Good for you. I did not pull his 4-star. I find the limit nice, but CS weapon change is underwhelming. Is the limit really nice nowadays? I feel like everybody just runs Yoritomo that. It's like kind of irrelevant. and
Not everyone has Yoritomo, I guess. It's nice for people who don't have the relevant units, but that's...
And if you're on like vertical, you run like Xmas Nomad. So I don't know about this limit. It's just like shitty Takimaru, to be honest.
Yeah, Takimaru also gives limit 1 square ahead of him.
Well, actually, this if unmoving is like kind of better in terms of like the turn order placement, but it's really highly restrictive in terms of like movement, so I dislike it. Tava equals Terra Ventus Aqua Star. Lol. This sounds like a Kingdom Hearts reference.
I vaguely feel like they meant to make this on move phase end, but then they accidentally left it as if unmoved, and now it's shit. Because it would actually be like okay if it was, well, maybe not okay, but it wouldn't be nearly as shit with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it wouldn't be busted if they changed it to that, even though it's such a much better effect, and yet they made it an even worse effect. So I feel like, you know, if Marcus saying is right, then
but like if he's like if he stays still, that he's gonna like try to modify somebody, but yeah.
I mean, he seemed to be perfectly fine moving and modifying in the challenge quest.
Yeah. Let's see. What's next? The Skivos might not be very good, but at least it's thematically coherent with the character. I think most of the Skivos have been fine so far.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Festival, except for like these like Keiichi and.
Okay, the volume 24 was quite nice at least. 25,
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts X Housamo confirmed. Well, it's always been here. I thought his Skivo was neat until I realized it was CS weapon change and not regular. And also that it only applied to one person in front of him, and you also can't carry him. Clown emoji. Yeah.
That was my impression too. I kind of just gave it a glance and it's not exactly what you did at first. And then Milk was like, it's CS right? I was like, shit.
It's just like, why? Why? What is the thought process? Maybe it's supposed to go on someone like Balor? I guess.
That's a decent idea, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you can use it on Balor. I don't know if it's none or the shot range overrides, so you might have to try that out yourself. Just like in the case of like Temujin. So yeah. I guess it's cool if it's Balor. Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty good use case, I would say. It's probably the only use case in terms of like going from none to actually something. So yeah, maybe that's a good idea. He was voiced as Ryoma Terasaka from Assassination Classroom.
I watched that, but I don't remember who Ryoma is.
Is that like the bully character? Because I think Terasaka is like the bully character.
Oh.
Like the
maybe.
delinquentish kind of guy.
The red hair guy?
I don't know hair colors. I read the manga.
I see. I wouldn't know.
You don't want to be turning Balor into CS shot.
I mean, for the most, yeah, it's nice to have his like countdown to everyone instead.
Why wouldn't you want to turn Balor into shot.
Well, his default is all range, right?
Well, I mean, like, shot is still good. Like, if he can't get the non-range off, so...
Yeah.
I didn't get to use him. QQ. Licho 4-star supremacy, celebratory hands in the air. Clown emoji, clown emoji, clown emoji. Ooh, glint is useful. Yeah, he has glint baked in. Oh, he can do an instant glint to himself like Suzuko 4-star. Yeah, he has glint and concentration. It's kind of annoying that his concentration isn't actually guaranteed, but yeah. Why not just adapt his high difficulty quest version and turn someone in front of him into shot? Yeah.
That's a
honestly,
very
I thought
good
regular
question.
shot range.
It would have been
Honestly,
quite
I
a
thought-
strong effect if it was just regular shot.
I don't know about that actually. When I was like going through the list, I was like, what is actually even good with this? Because it was like kind of like the Kurugane list, but it was like, I don't know. Yeah, it was just like whatever. And Goemon is the same voice actor as Tvastar. Is he really? Well, I don't know Goemon's voice actor.
Really? It's such a pretty big range. Well, I feel like Tashta has an accent and Goemon doesn't, but it's not like I understand
like
Japanese, whatever. Either way.
Yeah, I kind of like Tvastar's voice. It's very like funny. And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, there's something
like
jolly
the-
about it, and the way he rounds some characters or the consonants. I can't tell exactly what it is because I don't speak it, but I can tell there's an accent going on there.
it's like you know the Annie AR where like the anniversary
Yeah.
crafters AR.
Yeah, he's very
like-
jolly. Dun, 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 or
Or-
whatever.
Yeah, I forget what it was like. Glint concentration and prayer from Arc AR plus Smoky God for that sweet 80% proc rate. Which one? Oh, just the 80% proc rate. Yeah, you could use it. It's still kind of shit, but yeah. This stream may as well just be use Zurong.
I mean, not this stream
Not in this
specifically.
case. Yeah.
A lot of the other
yes, I
evos,
do.
yeah, but Jurong, yeah, is kind of like an all-use case character for a lot of debuffs.
Yeah, I think we only really said for Nyarl and Corp though, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because Zurong has been mentioned with almost every unit. Yeah, I think it was only really Nyarl and Corp.
I mean, that's almost
Milk only
half.
on. It's actually 2 out of 6.
Yeah, almost half.
Okay, I guess almost. Milk only on stream with Ara, I just noticed. Yeah, everybody else had some actual stuff to do.
How do you just know
So, yeah.
that? It's like, 2 people talking for the past hour and a half. Yeah, it's about the same until an hour and a half later. Wait a second, where's Uri and Zakas?
I don't think I have ever run Yoritomo. Well, that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yoritomo is just like the easiest unit to run. You just like take him as support and you do like I don't know 6 times more damage.
It's because he does Shiva strats and it doesn't even matter, so...
Oh, okay. I pulled the entire banner the first time it released. Good for you. Tvastar, Cait Sith, and Furufumi are all around CS level 26. I don't know what to make about that. Oh, I just realized it was CS weapon change, womp womp. Yeah,
That
very
is
womp womp.
That is the entire Evo right here. Womp womp.
If anyone needed a skill evolution, it was Festival Licho. This kit needs Jesus.
I mean, he's still good for a drop
I
quest
like-
at least.
I like Festival Licho, so I don't know.
And Irby did like a pyramid meme one time, so he's he's
I
no.
think it's like people are kind of like forcing him into like situations where
He should be used. Yeah, I guess they just want
Yeah.
like strong units to be general purpose units. Not all strong units are general purpose units.
I mean you shouldn't be like using Festival Licho to be like expecting like okay I'm gonna do like 30k damage each hit of combo. Yeah, I think that's basically the problem.
Irby did a pyramid meme, but sorry, you should read that.
Irby did a pyramid me, but it was with Lean Anin, so it didn't count. I actually like using Festival Licho with Teen Duos 5 because all of his buffs are like different, except for Ardor and CS, but that doesn't count. And Leaked 5 actually gives attack up too, so yeah, you could force him into that attack, into that sort of like big DPS, big range DPS now. because just everybody's like so busted now. But
Yeah.
Is Festival Licho that bad? I do not think he's that bad, but most people who like pull him think he's bad because his damage is low. Christmas Takimaru needed a Skivo, but no. Well, the thing needs a rerun in the first place, so yeah. We don't talk about Lee Nanon. I have Festival Licho, took forever to get him. Yeah, you had to wait.
I guess that's it
Okay.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I feel like I was about to say something, but now I'm forgetting it. Oh yeah, LifeWonders usually does when they do evos, they either like just the variants or just the base kits. In this case, it's just the base kits. So I was kind of surprised they actually evoed regular Tezcatlipoca instead of his variant for this event, but that's the reasoning I think I'm following here. Anyway, let's just move on. Sorry.
Honestly, the person who needed a skill evolution was Festival Furufumi, but
yeah, I was waiting for that too. Damn, he needed the most. I was like, where's Furufumi's? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess it's just regular kits. And I guess regular Furufumi is okay. He's okay. Anyways, we shall continue to the next and first AR of the batch. This AR is obtainable from the drop quests of this event, and you can also receive 80 of them from the item exchange. With that said, that means I'll be talking about this AR as if you've already maxed them, because you should be at least close to maxing them after you get all the ARs from the shop and grind a good amount. So this AR gives 400 HP to self, as well as 60 HP to self every time this unit is unmoved during the movement phase. Let me just scroll to that section. Yeah, that's pretty much the entirety of the effect. And I would just recommend this AR on unmoving tanks and zone boundary holders, such as regular Furufumi, who you can just slap in the front and keep everyone else in the back, and he never has to move, and he just heals by himself. And Fashionista Stagua, who's supposed to function like that in the first place, but, you know, people don't want to use him. And Tindalos, actually, because he can also kind of stall the front with his evasion. And he takes a bit of damage every time, because that's his penalty for having such consistent evasion. But this AR will help heal that part out, in the very least. You may also want to do the opposite and instead keep him somewhere near the back on moving. So for that, I would recommend units like Korpokkur, who, you know, can just deal turn start flat damage as well as charging every now and then. While in safety back, getting evasion. And again, also Furufumi, except playing the opposite role of a backliner who's just stalling until he gets his charge up, because 6 CP per turn is like it's pretty decent for not having to do anything at a guaranteed rate compared to a lot of other 3-star AR CP rates, which is like 2 or 3 CP per turn, or like every 2 turns or some shit like that. But yeah, it's a substantial heal, but only if you intend to not move the unit. Yeah, pretty much all my thoughts on this. Et toi?
I have no other thoughts on this thing.
That
I actually like healing ARs because it's actually kind of rare to get like
self heal.
Yeah, self heal or basically just heal in general from ARs. I don't really like the if unmoving condition though, so
I mean, yeah, they said up front when they released it, it's the most like a very restrictive condition. So most tanks are designed to be moving, and it speaks for itself by all the defensive buffs that are only 1 turn long. But there's still a few, like I said, Furufumi, Sasagua, and Tindalos to some extent. Maybe there'll be some more in the future, maybe there's only missed. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, I think for the most part, what is it, that Shenong Yu female AR is still like probably the best welfare healing AR, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. The rate's not guaranteed, but it's like 800 HP every time, and then there's another on-turn start as well. So, yeah.
Ideally, I would have like that 5-star Christmas Ryota Toji AR. That one's actually used quite a bit, but yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's a good point. That's already a better AR, so I guess I wouldn't use this AR as much as I thought I would. Still, I don't think it covers slash units, so maybe there's a slash unit that fits the criteria where it'd be useful, because I'm pretty sure that Bull AR does not cover slash units.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty much it for this. Yeah, let's not extend it. It's free AR, it's not gonna be game breaking. Let me just read this out. Alright. We don't talk about Lianen at Festival Licho. Well, we don't talk about Lianen. We don't talk about no. Festival says Skivo on his love quest. LOL. He actually has that. I don't know. I don't remember the quests that are entailed from the love quests. Take quest Evo chance. AR time. Yes, it is. Finally. Festival Licho is a nice utility unit. If the enemy doesn't resist, none change. Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that. Because non-range is nice, but you know, it's just if they usually resist none. They just treat it straight up just like Charm. It's like there's no exception to it. Alright, yeah, this is such an adorable AR. Look at them, they're so cute. I love them. Makes me like Catchy a lot more again. Like, I thought Catchy was good on release, but you know, something about it's just his official arc was just like, it was okay. But this is pretty damn cute for him. Yes, ARs indeed. They are coming up. We still have a few more to cover after this. So fluffy. How could Jurong ever compete? Well, just look at his crying animation. It's the cutest thing ever. Spent a bunch of stones to get all the ARs in banner, so they better be good. Honestly, I would say they are, but we'll just have to see as we go on. A very solid AR. This one, yeah. Its only downside, honestly, is just that it's kind of outcompeted by the free Year of the Bulls AR with Shenong and Gimao. But other than that, that's essentially like blessing level healing or something like that. What's blessing? I think it's like 600 or something, so it's almost like that.
Yeah, blessing is 600. I think it's fine for 3-star, but it's like not anything to write home about.
I'd say it is in comparison to the 3 stars, the other 3 stars anyways. But nothing to write home about overall for sure. Yeah. Unmove, it means during the movement phase where you have to choose a unit to drag and then let go. You do not choose this unit who is equipping this AR to move, and you do not drag and ferry a unit with in that same movement as well. So quite strict, honestly, in practice. Maybe this AR would be solid on Tomte. It could be. It only activates if you don't move. This AR is good on Tomte, but the Shenong Gimon AR is far better for him. Yeah, it is. So it means you don't move them if they have that AR on. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they're so cute. Oh, I want to snuggle too. Such cute plushies. I want to strangle them. Anyways, let's move on to the next AR. Display covered by Milk. Go
ahead. Yeah. So this is the Ryota Licho Keiichi 5-star AR. It's a quite boring AR in the sense that all it really does is buff your unit's damage. This damage scales down over time, so it starts with 1.6x multiplier, and it goes down by increments of 0.1. So the next turn is 1.5, the next turn is 1.4, all the way down to 1.2, where it stays at 1.2 forever. And it's at an 80 to 100% rate, so it's not guaranteed. That's kind of a shame. It also has a +2 CS multiplier. So, what do I think about this AR? I think it's boring, but it's actually quite good. Especially if you have like an all-range CS nuker. So, probably the best examples, of course, is stuff like Beach Kotaro.
There's already some other water ARs that give a +2 multiplier, so that's why I didn't write in my notes. But yeah.
Well, yeah, you can. Well, yeah, but they don't have 1.6x at the same time.
That's true.
So I think like, even though this is like a boring AR, this is kind of like.
Boring is a very good word to describe it, or at least I would agree with it, because my reaction to this was probably the same reaction when I first read Nomad's kit. It was good but boring. So.
Yeah, I think it's like boring, but like I think it's kind of like this AR where you see it in like, you know, like challenge quest clear videos, and you wonder like, how the heck did they get like this high amount of damage, like, you know, with this number of buffs, right? And then you like see like, oh, they had this AR which like basically
multiplied it by that, yeah,
multiplied it by, it's like 1.5 times 1.6, it's like 2.4, right? So it's like a free damage buff. And like, if you think about ARs, a free damage buff is like kind of wild.
Yeah, right? It is. 1.6, it's better than Nourishment at least. Not quite a 2 times multiplier, but you know, yeah. It's definitely nice for those turn oneers. that for those setups, the many setups we have now.
Yeah, so if you have Beach Kotaro, if you have Ban Typhon, it helps with Festival Licho too. Like, even if it's like a nourishment buff, like, you know, like, it's good. Like, you get free damage. I'm kind of hesitant to like recommend it for like farming because it's like, you know, inconsistent with the 80%.
Yeah.
But like, but like, I don't know. You can put it on Otohime, you can put it on Summer Shiva, you can put it on even like, I don't know, Mugen Wakan to get like more CS damage. Let's see. The other thing that I was gonna say is that this is also kind of good for like triggering an after buff effect.
I keep forgetting that. That's pretty good, yeah.
My specific case is Ban Typhon because sometimes his vigor like doesn't get procced, right? So this can like trigger it itself. But apparently this is like the only use case because after buff effects for water is like extremely rare for some reason.
Wow.
The only other case is like Babe Bunyan, but like
I was actually gonna mention Babe Bunyan, but for a different reason. Since he already has damage that skills down, I thought it's such a stupid meme to see his damage enormous in the beginning and become shit really quickly. So yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, you can use it on Babe Bunyan, but it's just like
it's funny. It's not good, but it's funny.
Anyways, that's pretty much. Oh, I should also think about the other restrictions, like Ryota and Cait Sith. They aren't really attack damage dealers, so it's not really helpful for
big
that.
question mark of why Ryota is on there, in terms of like being a damage unit.
Regular 4-star Licho can kind of do some good damage, but you would ideally just use the bronze strengthening AR instead. So I'm not really too.
Yeah, it's weird. None of these units match the AR at all in terms of its utility. It's like,
well, maybe we'll get Valentine Cait Sith, and Valentine Cait Sith is just broken, so who knows?
Perhaps.
I also like the art a lot. It's very nice.
Yeah, I think this is the first time Licho actually looks nice and not like a pug face.
Licho looks good in the Motozumi AR. I think he looks like.
He's a bit too around for me there. Like, this is the first time he actually looks like, you know, handsome.
Yeah, I like that he's the icon too.
Yeah, for once. 2 icons this time.
It's by Sea Monster Pink. Yeah, and they did the Kashi late AR before.
I see. Well, that AR was kind of boring design-wise, honestly, but this one is nice, I think, just because Licho has been missing good art for a while. That is not just, you know, his base character art. By the way, the previous AR was drawn apparently by the same artist as Seth and Bale, so kind of crazy that they can actually draw other characters besides Seth clones, and very cute at that too. But yeah.
Yeah. So I actually got this AR, so I was very happy because I like the art a lot.
Nice.
I actually pulled a dupe of it, so I got extra 4% as well because I wanted the Balor AR, but failed.
Oh. Well, you know, the event's not over if you really want, but
yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much all my thoughts on it. It's a pretty straightforward AR. You just get free damage. And honestly, like, if you get free damage with an AR, that's honestly pretty good. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I have...
It's like status advantage, but you don't have to worry about status effects.
That's a
free damage.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, honestly, boring, but strong. Slap it on anyone, any damage dealer anyways. Please don't slap it on like a healer or something because that'd just be like a bit of a waste. But yeah. And yeah, all my notes are literally just that one note on Babe Bunyan being a meme and the steep decline in damage. It's really simple. There is no specific recommendations for this other than any damage dealer because it really is just straight up damage. That's all my thoughts. You're free to read out the comments.
Did we read Kurogane Matsumura 5-star at home?
Okay. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. We have Kurogane and Matsumura 5-star at home.
Kind of, actually. It is similar in terms of a buff every turn, except that one's stackable, and this one just decrements first.
Yeah, this Kurogane and Matsumura scales up to nourishment.
That's like if I remember. Yeah, it's like a Seth, a Valentine Seth as an AR, and this is like a beach bunyan as an AR. Kind of funny.
Yeah. So actually, I think this AR is just way better because
Straight up
scaling
early
up
damage.
to nourishment is like worse than starting out with nourishment in this like kind of game.
My thoughts with Beach Bunyan versus Valentine Seth, honestly.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, Valentine Seth has its advantages because it's like defensive, but yeah.
Yeah.
An AR that focus on attack. Okay.
Yep.
I refuse to acknowledge Summer Kotaro. You better believe it.
You don't have to acknowledge him. He'll always be there, whether you like it or not.
The most powerful effects are generally boring, though.
Not always. Not really.
I mean, like, I think like Jiangxi Krampus is like really interesting, even if it's like really strong, right?
Yeah, it's like some of them are elaborate and strong. That doesn't mean elaborate's always strong, but it's like, it's just a straight up multiplier. I don't know how to describe it. It's strong because it's a multiplier, that's it.
I mean, even with like busted shit I don't really like using, like Linan, it's like can be like really interesting, like with the way you play her. So yeah, this looks deceptively good, but it's not as strong as you think. At first I thought this could counter Fade Bunyan's self-attack down, but it doesn't. It is really good for HD cubes with only 1 or 2 stages. No, it's actually like total per 1. Yeah, it's like scaled down over time, but yeah. I don't know, it's like, I think it's just pretty good. Like, you get free damage and you get a CS multiplier. So, yeah, this is whatever. Looks like it races up. No, it doesn't. Easy to use or consistent is powerful. Lee chorizo garnish. Yes, very spicy. Eat Cho, my beloved. You deserve all of these 3 AR apparitions. Kind of a weird choice of words, for sure. Babe, wake up. We got another 1-turn clear AR. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this would be probably one of the best ARs for 1-turn clears.
Yeah, like, if you see a clear video and this AR, and you don't notice this AR is like doing stuff, then yeah, you're gonna find yourself confused. Onion Knight, Final Fantasy III voice actor of Licho. I don't know these Final Fantasy references.
Same.
Sea Monster Ping art is a blessing. Yes, I really like Licho in this art. Well, I think all the characters look cute in this art. Valentine Keiichi Manifest. Yeah, I'm just joking, but maybe it's a possibility. Licho is my spirit animal because I got all his ARs in 110 pull. Less. Miro drew something that didn't look like Seth. Well, I think Keiichi is Miro, right? So yeah. I don't like the 5-star AR rate on the banner. Well, it's the 5-star AR rate on every AR banner, except for like the dungeon ones. So I guess you'll have to get used to it. Christmas Keiichi would melt my heart faster that Kotaro can clear an entire board. I don't really like Christmas, but the last theme was pretty good. Honestly, I don't know, all the previous year's themes have been pretty good. So maybe I do like Christmas. Let's see.
Yeah, they've been better. They used to be a joke, but yeah. Ben 10 decisively just said, yeah, Christmas is good again. Or for the first time, rather.
Keiichi has the artist as Seth and Bale. Yes. Maybe I should pull a bit and try for this for Waterworld Shiva. I don't know. Like, sure. Put it on Linan. You can do whatever you want. Sure. She who shall not be named. No, I hate Kotaro. That's fine. I don't know why the AR's focus on attack, because it's like Setzer's attacks Divine Bomb. Is this another Final Fantasy reference?
I have no idea.
What is the best unit that is not Kotaro that can act like Kotaro in high difficulty quests?
Who can penetrate evasion in all range?
Probably like if you used Xmas Nomad with like Dodo or something.
Not Nightmare Jump on no.
Nightmare Jamavan meta. Yeah, you can equip a Varga AR for Nightmare Jama.
There's a lot. Just like you can still do a search, I believe, on the wiki to search all units that have a all range charge. So that should still be working wiki at least.
I don't know.
It's a good start.
Let's go by memory. Let's go by memory.
Well, you need to eventually with how crappy the wiki's working right now.
Well, just use Christmas Nomad is greater than just use Eta.
Yeah, unfortunately, I only ever found 1 or 2 use cases for Eta the times I got the Evos. But yeah, Christmas Nomad for sure, now that he actually has short range and evasion penetration. Yeah.
I used 4-star Eta a lot in the big quest. I thought he was fine actually there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's honestly decent, but we, Christmas Nomad definitely throws all that relevance out there.
Yes, 3 times damage against weakness. Okay.
Hey, it's quite good. Let's move on before another comment sneaks in. Alright, we are going to talk about the Licht AR! Hooray! The thing everyone has been waiting for, obviously. Let me just scroll down to my notes here. So, this AR, it inflicts to your own ally in front of the unit who decides to equip this AR after you move them a CS lock that only lasts for 1 turn. Now, this is a bit strange for maybe a few of you, but being able to control your charge is actually something that a lot of people would find useful. So being able to lock their charge, and just for 1 turn, has a lot of use cases, but we'll get to that. And it also buffs their damage output in such a way that they receive a skill where on turn start, for 2 turns, they receive a damage buff that multiplies their damage by 2 times that lasts for 1 turn. So that means effectively the next turn, your next turn after you move, the benefactor of whoever you moved, whichever unit is receiving the buffs of this, or rather the skill lock, will be getting that 2 times damage amplifier on their turn start then. Sorry, that was really awkward to explain, but just read the thing. You'll get into it, the skill info box. And yeah. Let's see my notes on this. It is quite a strong effect applied to allies because you can let units that have superior regular attacks but inferior charge attacks continue using the regular attacks instead. This includes Christmas Ben 10, who has all range weapon change if she does not have her charge. Her charge is only magic range, unfortunately, but with this she can indefinitely do her all range regular attack now. There's also Kalki, who has all range whenever he's debuffed, and luckily CS lock is a debuff, so that will actually trigger that as well. You may also want to use this on Shiva, but probably not as much River Shiva, that is, since he does have a weapon change 12 as well, but it's usually not going to be irrelevant since what's it called? He doesn't really have any way to constantly refresh it. He needs to actually charge again to get it back up. But yeah, you may also want to, as a suggestion I received from Milk earlier, equip this AR for the sake of the benefactor who has a strong high CP conditional effect. So the only one really right now that I would say is worth it, in agreement with what Milk was saying, is Temujin. Temujin is a unit with his recent Evo that gives a crit plus to all units, well, I forgot the range, it's like units adjacent or units in diamond range or something like that. Crit plus, given his CP is
2 square diamond radius, I think. It's really big.
Yeah, quite big. Bigger than 1 square head, but not quite all board. So yeah, it gives a crit plus to all units within a 2 square diamond radius, but he has to have a 100. It's not one. It's like greater than 90 CP, I believe, which essentially means he's going to charge at that point. But yeah, and just prevent him from charging, and that means you can constantly keep on giving that crit plus, because he'll always have over 100 CP rather than blowing it away with his charge. And lastly, you may also want to use this AR for the sake of the damage strengthening for the next turn. So you can do this with units that have predictable charges, that is, units that have charges on a clock. So this would include Tindalo, so he gets his charge every 3 turns for an all-range charge. Just have to move whoever is equipping this AR behind him the turn directly before it, and then the turn after, if all the activation rates get right, he should get that 2 times damage bonus. So 2 times is actually quite impressive. The only gotcha about it is that, well, one, applying that acquired skill is not really at the best rate at 60%, and 2, even if he had like that maxed, the skill itself only activates 80% of the time. So even if he had like this AR max, it still could fail 1 out of every 5 times. But yeah, besides Team Los, you may also Hercules also has a predictable charge where he charges every 4 turns. So just move it like the turn directly before he charges, and yeah, he will get 2 times damage sometimes. Now, besides this, there's also some things to consider of who you wish to equip this AR on. You'll probably want to equip this on units that already function directly behind a unit, as well as units that buff. So Milk's suggestion, which is kind of obvious, honestly, is Valentine's Chemo, because he's essentially like the Lianon substitute, the Lianon wannabe. But yeah, he gives limit and nourishment, I believe. So that's 2 buffs you can give while at the same time applying these effects at the same time with the unit directly in front of him. You may also want to consider equipping this unit on Licht 5, so because he already gives a bunch of CP to the unit in front of him, and this will give you better control over it, while at the same time giving you an excuse to take advantage of Licht's movement skills for the attack up and the spirit and all that. Yeah, and Team Los actually would be an example of this as well, because he gives Stigma whenever he moves, and can reduce CP as well. Actually, that's redundant. Never mind. I'm scratching that. Not Team Los, because he can already reduce CP. Although that doesn't prevent a charge per se. And Christmas Ryota, since he gives the massive amount of CP, he's the quintessential case of a charge CP battery, but he also gives Ardor when he moves. So there's and even if he didn't move, like, he's already gonna be behind the unit anyway, so there's a reason to equip the Sun Ryota as well. And my last thought on this is that this AR would be quite useful if you're doing a double charger setup, which, you know, I know it's not super common. I used to do one with a double Kotaro, have them alternating charges. Now, the main issue with that was that sometimes one Kotaro, the offset Kotaro would be getting too much charge, and so they end up both charging at the same time. In this way, you are preventing both of them to use their charge at the same time, while simultaneously always having strengthen next turn up for at least one of the Kotaros, the one that's about to charge. So that's a neat way to take advantage of it constantly every turn instead, if you happen to do a setup like that. Yeah, those are all my thoughts. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the best ARs ever, just because it allows for strategies that I think it's a pretty fundamental strategy. Well, maybe not fundamental, but like it's like a pretty common use case, I think, of like
charge management.
Just having like people, yeah, just having like, I don't know, 2 charges up when there's only like 1 enemy dead, and then you have like Katuga just like blow up 1 enemy for like no reason, right?
Yeah, that's always been fun.
So I think like the strategy. So I think the fact that this AR like allows a new strategy that's pretty good is like makes it one of the best ARs in my opinion. So yeah, I would pull for this AR. Well, I did pull for the AR, but I got the other one. So yeah.
Well, the other one was quite good too, as you said.
Yeah. Did you mention like Katuga getting Rage Plus? I think you did, right?
I didn't mention Katuga.
Yeah. So I like the fact that this CS lock is like a removable debuff, in the sense that you can trigger like an after debuff conditional, like, I don't know, like Force or Caution.
Is it removable?
It's removable.
I didn't know that.
It's not irremovable. So
it says
this actually has bad synergy with debuff prevention thing.
It says irremovable right there on the screen. Sorry, you're not looking at the screen.
That's next turn.
Oh,
CS
yeah,
lock
I see.
though,
Right. I
CS
see.
lock is removable.
I have 0Q. Alright, I see. Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, so you have bad synergy with stuff like Triton or like, I don't know, whatever. But you can trigger some like after debuff effects, like, I know that's why Kalki gets mentioned a lot, right? Because you can trigger his all range charge.
I feel like
I
those effects trigger with irremovable ones too, though, don't they? So it wouldn't matter either way.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter either way. But I wanted to say it's removable because it doesn't synergize well with some people, and that's why I wanted to say that was gonna be like somewhat balanced actually, right? It's like a pretty strong effect, but because it's removable, it's somewhat balanced. Yeah.
I see. So you're saying it'd be a bit busted if it was irremovable.
Yeah, that's my thought on
Interesting.
it. Because I mean, like you can get like a free 50% countdown with Kashi with it, or like you can get figure arter on Valentine Kuma, like for free with it. So it's all like pretty good, I think. I mean, I've been looking for like a on-demand debuff that's like one turn only, and this is basically it.
That's true. I probably did not consider that as much as I should have. The fact that this is an on-demand debuff that anyone can equip and can be applied to anyone. Well, not anyone can equip, but can be applied to anyone. That's the important part.
So yeah, this is really good for Katuga because you get the Rage Plus and you get the Strengthen next turn. So you can get like basically 5 times CS damage, and it like does all his like stupid after buff bullshit due to the Rage Plus. Yeah. Oh, fun fact about the CS lock is that it does not work with Mugen Tanga because LifeWonders forgot to add it in.
It doesn't? So
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't like trigger his like his like what is it? His like the percent, the debuff strengthening bullshit, because they like hard coded it.
Oh, I
in
see.
status. Well, they forgot, so yeah, it does not work with Mugen Tanga.
That's a very specific find, but I guess you were responsible for looking over his stuff. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of a throwaway debuff, even if it is removable. If they're ever gonna release this again in any form, it's just gonna be for this AR, I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, this is a really good AR. I like the ideas of like what strategies you can come up with it, especially when LifeWonders continues to explore CP conditionals more. Because we only really have like Shinya, Temujin, and like Licho, I think. Yeah, everybody else is HP. So yeah, really good AR. The only problem is that it's stuck on like wood and nether. So yeah, you have to find good people to put it on.
Yeah, well, Licht's actually a decent choice with his Evo. And Furufumi, no, not really. Maybe not Furufumi, but yeah.
I mean, it's all preparing for the Xmas Benten Licht combo. So yeah.
And, that's true. It's neat that I think I thought this earlier, but I forgot to mention. Actually, yeah, it's. I mean, I mentioned it, but not in the sense that this is a nice way for Licht and Benton to synergize, like in their actual friendship. So neat.
Yeah. Concerning the art, I think it looks kind of cute. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a combo Licht. He draws like the best Lichts. Now, granted, this one maybe the lighting's a bit too much here, but I still like his Lichts a lot.
Furufumi is the icon. I think that's like his first icon. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good that you get to 5-star AR. I think it's really good that LifeWonders doesn't like what is it? Just make all the 5-star ARs like bait people. Yeah. Like they actually like kind of care about their less popular characters.
Are you saying Furufumi's less popular than Licht? I thought they were just about equal, honestly.
No, I mean like just in general, like it's not just like filled with like Tez and Balor,
That's true, yeah.
Like other borrow bullshit.
The truth comes out. Okay. Well, yeah, I agree. This is a very strong.
I mean,
game.
I like it. I just like the fact that they continue to represent underrated characters.
No, I mean, on a deeper level, it's like this game attracts a lot of people because it actually caters to specific tastes that rather than trying to be like bara everything and generic K-culture, whatever, like rainbows and shit like that. It feels like there really is a mosaic of this game, and it has disparate things that a lot of people will dislike, but they like other things within that catalog. Between different body types and different genders and different even personality types and different.
Furufumi is very fun and relatable of this event.
I didn't take you for someone that goes off the sides and reads antique books.
Well, I just liked him like saying no.
Outright, yeah. No beating around the bush. Yeah, he knows what he wants. Furufumi's kind of a well-defined character in that sense. A lot better development, or at least a lot more insightful development than in the main story quest. But yeah, I do wish we would at least get one combo leaked on the icon now. But oh well. Yeah, I'm just happy we got a leaked AR, and then I got it. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and read the comments, and more importantly, gonna find where I last was. Oh my god. Do you remember what blessing you were saying? Kasuga? Yeah, that's it. Just use Ita. Oh yeah, 3 times damage on sweetness. Teen Delos, maybe. For the previous one. Yeah, maybe. Or was it 4? No, it's 3 times. Use Ata. Yeah, Ata has been pretty strong from the other one we were talking about. But can't equip that one, I'm pretty sure. I used my secret artifact 100 4-star 8. I'll get that status level 100 blessing. Husbands are so precious. They aren't they? Although I do feel like Furufumi's shaped a bit like a poorly kneaded potato or piece of dough here. But it's fine. It's by the original artist of Furufumi, so you can draw him however you wishes. Just like the artist of Snow can draw Snow kind of weird sometimes. Sadly, I did not get this here. I mean, it is a 5-star, but you know, as with all or most ARs now, anyways, it is going to be in a permanent pool. So don't blow your load too early, AR. Yes, that is a good way to describe it. I've actually used the CS lock in the grind quest recently. It's nice, so curious to see this in other scenarios. Yeah. Well, CS lock aside, and charges aside, the strengthening effect applies to whether they have a charge or not ready, so it's also good for just giving buffs up. I guess I didn't really think of that until now, but yeah, it's 2 times multiplier is like nothing to scoff at. That's like the standard of a good damage buff. Yeah, you'd have to wait for a bit, but you can outrank between units if you have the right setup. This AR is interesting to say the least. It provides utility and damage, and is perfect for supports like Licht that need to be in the back row. It also enhances 5-star Licht's overall usage. Yeah, for sure. I'm glad I have both. For Square Enix, Shiva is a woman, and Housamo Shiva is a man. I mean, yeah, I've always imagined Shiva as like a woman because of previous depictions of them, but you know, they're deities, they could be whatever you want. And Shiva as a man is pretty cool in this, that I completely forgot about how I originally perceived them as mostly female. Honestly speaking, the after moving effect feels weird to me, considering Furufumi and Licht doesn't want to move. But I don't know, I'm not sure. No, you're absolutely right. Furufumi, his festival variant, straight up can't move on the first few turns of phase because of what's called immobility. And his regular, like his 4-star at least, has no reason to move at all, since he can activate his effects without moving. As for Licht, at least originally, you didn't want to, in one of the older use cases of him, you didn't want him to move because you wanted him to get bigger. But now it's like he has a reason to move because of his Evo, at least his 5-star does, so that you can have a few more chances to roll for Spirit and attack up. And what's called that the remove enemy buffs on departure effect, skill acquisition effect. So yeah, I think it's more suitable for League now for sure though. League 5 anyways. How curious for this AR to be released right after Christmas Benton. I wonder if we'll get a 1/9 unit similar to Lianon in the future due to this. That'd be kind of a weird setup, but it would work. We have a Guillemot already, like I said, as Smoke suggested originally to me. But yeah, it's nice that Leaked and Ben 10 have this like implicit synergy here. Seems good after moving, to be honest, because a lot of wooden units and nether units want to be moved anyway. That's like somewhat true. I did manage to scan the list of wooden nether units, and there's like an okay amount. There wasn't a huge amount, but like there's a lot of strong ones like Christmas Tree to absolute standards that, you know, they have a reason for moving. And Link 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a lot. I think it's like, at least it's not like a lot in the people that, the list of people who, in the list of wood nether units you've used typically, I think. Like, I don't know. Most people just use like Summer Shenong, and that's it.
I mean, I've always felt like Summer Shenong was just, I don't know, not even
people use
them most of the time.
people used them in the last Christmas like high difficulty quest.
Okay, truthfully speaking, I wasn't able to record my first clear for that because, you know, my computer died. But I actually used Summer Shenong for that to clear first. He's so basic to win with. But yeah. Even Furufumi is the same voice as Licho, but different pitch. I don't think they're the same voice actor, are they? That'd be weird if they were.
They are the same voice actor.
That's crazy!
They are actually talking to each other.
That's bananas! Seriously, they're both Joker.
Well, yeah, it's like, in like the Furufumi Licho AR. Wait, you said Licho or Licht? Licho, right?
Licho, yeah.
Yeah, so the Furufumi Licho AR, it's basically Jun Fukuyama, like, talking to himself.
That's so funny. But then again,
well, I mean, like,
the voice actor Morita does that all the time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird that he like pulls double duty in this like festival event because he voices both variants, and then they're actually quite different in terms of like, well, I mean, it's like quiet versus loud, but basically that.
See, this is the benefits of you having a large range. You get to be paid doubly for it in a single event. So good for him. Good for him. Although I'm sure his voice was very hoarse after. Alright. 3-star and 5-star League could both have the skill artist. It gives this teensy theme. Yeah, there's always been a bit of incentive for him to move, although honestly was kind of a negative up until his Evo. I mean, it still kind of is because you still want to give vigor and his charge isn't any stronger per se. But it's like, he has other reasons to move, that is what I'm saying, that are actually good. Fair. Stream's buffering a moment. I have 0 drop frames, so I'm gonna say this just your side. Works on my machine. I think the cool thing about this is that it opens up plenty of options for units. Yeah, I think Milk really covered that quite well. This AR is like not just strong in like a general sense, but strong in it unlocks a whole different field of playing in a specific way kind of thing. Strategies that weren't possible essentially before. And just better control over the gameplay in general. You could also use this AR in situations where the enemy counters damage. If you have a unit on your squad that has an all-range CS, this AR just might save you. Yeah, that's true. Although, honestly, if you knew that was going to happen, if you knew that they countered it, you would probably plan and not bring that unit in the first place. Pre-CS lock spread for Sonnet. That is true, I guess.
So, is it? I don't think so, right? It's after being hit or something?
If it's...
So, like, if you spread the CS lock, you already got hit by CS.
Yeah, I think the timing wouldn't work out because it wouldn't prevent them in some way. Like, if you inflicted it...
I guess if you had, like, a... It can't even be after moving because it's, like, because this AR is the after moving. So it has to be, like, a one attacking spread debuffs or something. I don't know.
It wouldn't prevent anything. They need to hit them, right?
Is Sanat like one attacking or is it after?
I'm pretty sure it's one attacking.
Okay, then if it's one attacking, then it's fine. Yeah, sure. But it would,
I don't think it would affect them. It would like disappear right away, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it disappear? Yeah, so it wouldn't work at all.
Yeah, the only way you could like spread this is if somebody had like spread debuffs on enemy turn start.
Yeah, that's like literally because if they got it at one attacking, I mean they'd be charging during the attack, so kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, so no, it's not gonna happen.
By the way, strangely enough, CS lock doesn't actually prevent CS effects from going off once it's started, which is like that skill lock, like bind does that, where it prevents you from continuing doing that. But if you keep on hitting units with a charge and they have CS lock halfway through, their effects are gonna keep on going off from their charge. So I don't know if the LifeWonders intends to do or not, but a bit of trivia here.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Alright, and Toji. Fumi's? No. Giving strong Club Penguin his kill energy. I also appreciate LifeWonders doesn't just spam out outs of the most popular units. Each unit they give an out does feel appropriate. Yeah, this game definitely would not... Pardon?
Sometimes it's like inappropriate, like fuck that. Seth should not appear.
The Seth clones, yeah, no. Well, you know,
Like Balance Seth had like no fucking reason to appear. Even in the events, he was like, "This better not be some dumb fucking plot for me to appear." And it's like, is this some dumb fucking plot for him to appear?
All right. Sometimes, you know, they're allowed to splurge on their, you know, breadwinners occasionally if they're actually giving a legit chance to the you know, inconvenience. You know, it's like, honestly, if LifeWonders, if they really wanted to, they could have just focused on the true favorites all this time. So they're allowed to do it sometimes, I'm sure. Furufumi Do retcon. Yeah, his face really is doughy with that texture or shape rather. That Furufumi is fine for me, but his CS weapon is a blow. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of including Furufumi so he doesn't do that, but it's not like he's doing much when he attacks anyway, so who cares? Hey, you can use that Furufumi with Touchdown now. Yes. Wait, what? No. Wait, yes, you can, but why would you do that?
Well, you could because of the CP and like crit CS stuff, but yeah. Because Festival Furufumi is like, oh, you mean Festival Furufumi, right?
Yeah.
So like his Festival Furufumi gives like plus 25 to 50 CP for every hit, so it's actually quite sizable.
To allies?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like a mini Epicon.
I didn't even realize that, and I have him. Well, I don't really use him,
Well,
except for just standing and giving buffs.
Well, I looked it up because of Licho's thing. So yeah.
I see. Goes to show that even carrying out a discussion and going over it in detail doesn't guarantee you to remember them in the future. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had to cover him back then too. Jun Fukuyama voiced as Onion Knight as well. And King from Seven Deadly Skins. Yep, even Panda from Polar Bear. Hello. And this message is got to go. But yeah, we can continue on to the next one. Let me just prove this. So yeah, that was I thought you were about to mention something else, Jer Bear, which is actually a different synergy that's going to come up with this AR, and that is the Balor AR. Nice, it was a nice one, hopefully. Which Mook will be covering. So off to you, Mike.
What are we on? Balor?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I actually have a lot of notes on this. So this Balor AR gives on turn start if your CP is greater than 99, so basically 100.
I don't know why it doesn't just say CP 100, because doesn't like Temigen or something like have that?
Well, I mean, it's like the wiki, right? But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Apply great increase in skill activation rate to self, and great increase in skill activation rate is an irremovable buff, which gives plus 30% skill activation rate for one turn, and there's an attack status advantage of 1.6x damage to darkness. So, and the restrictions for this AR is Tez, Balor, and all the special elements, so Infernal, Valiant, and World. So this is kind of like a strange AR because this turn start timing, due to it being turn start, you are only going to benefit from stuff like after buff, after moving, and like before and after being hit, and I guess like the move phase and conditionals now. But you aren't going to benefit from when attacking because you're going to be CSing for most people, right? So yeah, like turn start does not affect other turn start stuff because it's within the same timing. So you're not going to benefit from, so you can't run stuff like I don't know, like Bertro evasion, right?
I mean, it should affect it in the sense that AR
it could
effects
also
goes off
benefit.
First, right? I feel like AR timing works slightly different. Like it doesn't actually go off at the same time as the base kit's timing, but like slightly before. Well, maybe not.
I don't think it affects within the same timing, but I don't know. It could.
I mean,
it's hard to test, really.
Yeah, it's always hard to test these
right
right.
to find like a 70%.
There was because I feel like, you know, that relationship bonus you get like
Yeah.
friendship. It's like I feel like that actually does guarantee it, even if it is like the other effects are on move. And
Oh really?
yeah, because like I've used it
Because
plenty times.
it would make quite a bit of difference for some people. Yeah. My only thought was like Bertro for like turn start sort of cheesiness, but even then it's still too low for 30% to make a difference. And the main problem that you'll encounter with this AR is that you lose CP 100 like very quickly because you know you're gonna CS unless you like actively miss. There are some cases though that are really good. So I think a funny person to put this on would be regular Shiva 5, but you don't use him to CS. Like you just use him to limit up people because he applies darkness to himself, so he's always at 100 CP.
Oh, that's true. So units that can already apply their own charge. Yeah.
I think that's like the only real case other than like people actively missing. So I think another funny person to put this on, if you can get him to miss, would be like Sandayu, because like Sandayu has like all his like after moving evasion stuff, and like his rates are kind of shit to be honest. Like Sandayu, like he has like dazzles like 70% or something. Like this 30% can help out. Horus actually is pretty good to put this on, and you can miss a CS very easily because it's wide slash. I feel like people who use Horus put him in like the second row. I don't really know, but yeah, Horus has all his like he has after buff remove debuff, and that's only at 40%. So this 30% is pretty good for him, and he can like do, and he has like his his after being hit stuff like stigma and CP. What else is good? Smoky God. I think this is actually also kind of good at Smoky God, because Smoky God usually has really high CP because of his like after being hit plus 20 CP, and his like charge is low, so it's very easy to miss with him. So like if you want to get like a free plus 30% on Smoky God for most of the time, this is a good AR. And of course there's one person who's like the obvious person to use this on. It's Balor, like regular 4-star Balor, because he has a bunch of after buff effects, I think, right, which allow him to get his CS weapon change. So this is good for getting that after buff to trigger. I don't really know like how good this is compared to like using the combo like Kagutsuchi Ikutoshi AR. But that's like just one of my favorites, so I don't know. So if you have this AR and you like using Balor 4-star, then you might want to consider this. I don't have the AR to like really tell how good it is. I don't really know how good Balor 4-star CS is, to be honest. It's a little gimmicky.
It's actually quite strong. It is. He has the countdown advantage, remember? So it's like actually.
I have another.
On top of the
I forgot I had another note.
Good.
This AR is also really good on Onsen Shalodal, because Shalodal has a bunch of after buff bullshit.
Was it like CP or something?
Well, he has like after buff crit and like after buff like I don't know. He just has a bunch of like after buff bullshit.
I saw him when I was reviewing units too, but I have him and I was just like, he doesn't need that much help getting his crit up since he has a bunch of buffs anyways.
Yeah, but
it helps.
This like changes his like after buff rates from 30% to 60%. So pretty good. Well, it's only if you have like 100 CP, but yeah. For darkness advantage, the only people I could find is like Tez and Wrestlers. Wrestler is actually kind of funny because the Wrestler has that like Mimi evasion of like 24% after moving, I think. So you could like equip this and like try to fish for a 54% evasion.
You're mentioning Wrestler. You didn't mention Tezcatlipoca. I mean,
No, I said Tez.
Okay. But yeah, anyone with darkness on attacking is good, but Tez is the obvious example. I guess I missed it because, yeah.
I think Tez is the only one. I guess Bertro gives darkness on CS as well, but yeah.
For sure. But yeah, 1.6 is respectable, and Tez, with his new Evo, and this along with it, it'll just amp his damage a lot more, so he could be like an actual contender. But I didn't do any multiplied calculations, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it.
So yeah, I thought this was like just the Balor AR, but there's like some people you can use it on. Like, I don't know, regular Shia 5-star if you want to be a Maverick and actually move him for darkness. Or like Smoky God. So yeah. Will I pull for this AR? Yeah, I pulled for it because I like Balor. He's kind of hot in it.
Yeah. It's a nice hair detail in his hair.
He doesn't actually appear in the event like as a festival participant.
It's bizarre. It's like, when does this happen? This shit never happened. He never met Tezcatlipoca while like in this form. I mean, he did, but not in.
He did, but yeah.
You know, him not in that form. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like locked up somewhere, not seeing the festival. It was strange. I thought I'd be seeing him, but no, he was just always in the box screen when I was playing the event.
This is the first Balor AR too, so yeah.
But yeah, Tez looks cute here, and Balor looks hot here, so it's cool. I like the art here. Although there is a bit of a lighting jarriness between the two. One is kind of cartoonish, and the other is not. But that's just being nitpicky. Yeah, I just noticed he's wearing a Tez mask.
Yeah. The character masks in this event are kind of funny. You just look at the background and
I know.
see like Furufumi mask.
He lost our mind over it, but now that I think back at it, the characters never even acknowledged it once, which is even funnier. It's like, oh yeah,
you just have like this like weird Ryota mask.
Everyone knows Ryota in Tokyo, obviously. Everyone's gonna want these. Anyways, my thoughts on this. I probably only thought about this because I was lucky enough to actually be able to apply to this condition. Is that you can combine this AR with the other AR that prevents you from charging. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So
you can do that.
Yeah. So equip this on the unit whose effects you want to boost and who has a charge that you don't want to go off, and then some other unit that will prevent that charge with the other AR, with the skill locking AR. That is. I was looking for examples. There was not actually that much in addition I could say. Wolfslav has a possession at only 50% whenever he's debuffed. You can boost that up by a lot more if you have this, obviously, to like 80%. So that's nice. And there is also Searcher, which, you know, he has that super low rate Berserk for some reason. If you want to boost the rate for some reason, that's an option.
You don't want to boost that rate.
I mean, it's there if you want it for some reason.
Actually, the Volk synergy is kind of interesting because CS lock is a debuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, pretty nice synergy there. If you're hyper lucky enough to get both, it's not like game breaking or anything, but it's nice to have. And also, again, one of those cases of this will have more utility as the game goes on. But yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I should mention something, but I looked at this AR and I really wanted to use it with Ken Tangaroa and Sanat Kumara, but because it's irremovable, you can't do it.
Right.
Also, Canon Tangaroa almost never fucking has 100 CP because of his like minus CP stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I was considering that too, but I was like, he's not gonna benefit from that. Not even with a bit of CP health.
Yeah, like you basically are never gonna get 100 CP with Canon Tangaroa. So yeah.
Besides, it's like most of those effects are guaranteed if you're using the Kanen Tangaroa Itsana setup with Tangaroa seated. It's like he actually just revives guaranteed, and he gives buffs guaranteed.
Prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need seated or prayer for the 70% stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, so a bit less use for someone like me, but for someone who hasn't committed to seating Tangaroa, because I know it took me a long time to get around to doing that.
Anyways, this AR wouldn't even fucking work for them, so.
Yeah, let's not elaborate too much on it. But yeah, I gave my thoughts on it already, and I'm sure you gave yours, so you can read out the comments whenever you're ready.
Okay. Love me some Gomtong art. Kawaii, giant, and plushy. Smug Catlipoca. Oh, is this supposed to be for this? Okay. Banana and corn for scale. It could be a big banana. Where is the banana?
He's holding it in his hand.
Is that a banana?
It's a chocolate banana.
Oh, I didn't see it, but yeah, it's over there. Balor's fingers are as big as a banana. Oh wait, I skipped something. Does this
Imagine
mean
Balor
Tez
fingering you.
get 3.1x to darkness units? Is that 1.6 times 1.5?
He does have native darkness. Does he have native darkness advantage?
He does have native. I think it's only 1.5 though. Where
But
did 3.1 come from?
well, yeah, that would scale with the darkness then. Although you don't add multipliers like that, I'm pretty sure you multiply them together, so it'll be different from 3.1, I'm sure.
Oh, are you adding 1.5 and 1.6? Yeah, that's a no-no.
Yeah, that's not good.
Multipliers multiply. Yeah. So you multiply
figure.
1.5 and 1.6. Balor's fingers are as big as banana. I kind of wonder what that scale is, but that's kind of interesting. Imagine putting Balor's Skeevo behind an AR.
They've done that with Alice, alright? And they've done that with a number of other
Well, they
units
buffed
too.
Alice. Well, they went back to buff Alice, so yeah.
Yeah, but
whatever.
you know what I mean.
Heart Eyes. You could use this in tandem with the Furufumi Elite AR to have infinite plus 30% skill rates. The 60% darkness damage bonus is great for Tez since it'll stack with his innate bonus against it. Yeah, if you run like 3-star Tez or like 5-star Tez, sure. Yeah. Ara mentioned the Furufumi leaked AR. I don't know if you said it first, but I wonder who's good for that. I didn't really.
Yeah, I looked through them. I'm pretty sure Volt is like probably one of the better ones, and even though it's just possession.
I mean, you could get some like good when attacking stuff, but
the issue is the restriction of Infernal Valiant in World. There's actually not that many that are super reliant on low rate stuff because they're usually busted. And then there's Balor, who is like made for this AR.
I mean, I kind of wanted to say like put it on Sanat and do this because like Sanat's like crit is just so fucking dumb. Like his rates, like his stigma crit stuff is dumb, but I don't know.
It could
I
work
can't
with
think
that,
of it at the moment.
but it's a lot just for crit. Yeah.
Oh, I also was like considering putting this on Marduk, and then I looked at his rates, and his like rates were all like 90 to 100%. I was like, oh, okay, sure. There's no need for it.
Just Sedum or Depth Clint or something. He's good. A lot of the Valiant World and Infernal Units have decent rates.
I see a test mask on it. Okay, yeah, it's a test mask. I like how the AR icon is Balor. Yeah, it's pretty good. Balor should get an icon because this is the like first AR, so yeah. I've gotten Kennen Tangaroa to CS like maybe twice in all the time that I've used him. Yeah, it's very rare. 1.5 times 1.6 equals 2.4, my bad.
Oh,
Still
pro tip hidden. It's you can get the charge up a tiny bit easier if you decide to love relationship with someone and make them envious. So you got that envy CP bonus at the end of turn. That can't be denied, right? So it's just 5 free CP every time. If he's like, capping at 95 every time because he's being hit once, that'll completely cancel it out.
Balor is a giant, so it makes sense for scaling for him to be massive. This just helps show it. Only awkward scaling is with the mask, but the banana and corn being as large as his hands seems legit.
Oh.
Well, I feel like they would have custom sized masks for transients. Because like they say they have like custom sizes for like like clothing or something. So yeah. I don't know.
By the way, I didn't mention it because I thought, you just might have slipped, but are you reading in top chat or live chat right now?
I'm reading in top chat.
Yeah, I figured.
Is that bad? Is that bad?
It's like most comments go through, but you skip a few here and there. You just skip one. So.
Should I go back to live chat?
You can. There's just one comment you missed recently, just now. There's a few others, but I'm not gonna tell you. It's fine. It's like whatever.
Was it like
the Balor one?
Bullshit? Or like
No. It's just someone used the slur, but it's like a pretty meaty comment.
So which one did I miss?
This was Balor's one chance.
This is Balor's one chance. Actually, I didn't see it in the live chat either.
What? It's right there. Sigmund Sama? You don't see that?
What?
It should be right after what Hidden says of I got Kanan Tangaroa to CS.
Give me a second. No, I don't see it.
Okay, I'll read it. This was Balor's one chance to get a buff for his countdown meme shenanigans, but they didn't even go all the way with the effect. SMH, why can't sluts rule the world? So.
Oh yeah, the reason why I went to top chat is that live chat was showing the exact same thing as top chat for me.
Oh, that's a bit weird, but maybe it's just caching issues or something. Anyways, sorry, technical issues, but you can continue.
Okay. Okay. And I'm all here for it. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see some sort of scale for giants. I keep hearing Furufumi leaked AR instead of leaked too. I don't know how to pronounce leaked. I don't know how to pronounce German word for light.
I mean, it'd be like leaked, but I don't want to sound like an asshole in front of my mic, so I'm just saying leaked.
I don't see that in chat. Yeah, I don't really know. It's like my top chat and live chat just look the exact same to me. So I don't know. That's why I've been reading the top chat.
Are you
so
like logged in to your YouTube account maybe?
Yeah, I'm logged in.
Okay, I don't know then. It is mystery. It is mystery.
Maybe I'll just keep both up. See what happens.
All right.
Okay, that's all the comments, I think.
I don't see that in chat. Oh, that hidden set. I thought you said that. All right. Anyway, we are fast approaching the end, everyone. We have one more AR to talk about. The last one of the batch. This is the last one, right? I'm pretty sure it's the last one. The Licho Furufumi AR. I'll be covering this. This AR gives glitch to self whenever they miss at an 80% rate, as well as spreads CP to allies adjacent whenever they are buffed. This really should have been Milks, because obviously the most pertinent candidate for this AR is Jamboree Kadutsuchi to amplify his CP buff spreading, or rather his CP spread to allies directly adjacent. It's not an amazing rate at 35%, but hey, it's, you know, if you give a bunch, then you'll have more chances to roll it. That's always how it works. But besides Jamboree Kagutsuchi, I'd also just recommend anyone who misses frequently and have some useful on-miss skills. So this includes Claude 5, who in his Evo he did get some on-miss skills, I believe, something about either buffing his allies or giving CP to himself, I forget which. There's also Astaroth 4, if you remember, her entire kit's designed around like waiting until she gets her charge and then she has her attack range, but she also has some decent effects when she misses. It's just that they're quite low, so this helps a bit. There is Christmas Osei, who may benefit from this as well, because he has some rates that, you know, his rates are generally good, but they're not guaranteed, and he is designed around missing as half the time as much as he's attacking. There's Nodin. Well, you know, there's only so much you can come to in terms of who would specifically benefit. Osei is not that good, but he would benefit. Nodins would benefit from this since he's blow range and he does have a tendency to miss, even though he's designed to be better at hitting other units than others, and it would help for the paralysis for sure. And regular Kijimuna would also benefit from this because with his Evo, he is able to inflict the bind to units in shot range as long as he misses. That's all my thoughts on this AR.
My thoughts on this AR is that it's like you're not gonna use it because everybody's running Kashi Lave AR for glints for like first 2 turns of the phase. The after buff CP effects is really shit at like level 1 because it's like 3 CP for like 35%. So like even if you like roll a lot, you're only gonna get like 6 CP at most. So yeah, it's not like really great, but that changes though if you're like, you know, if you like whale a lot and get like SALV, I mean not SALV, like AR level 100 for this, because 6 CP at 70%, that's really good, and it's like really funny because it's even better than Jamboree Kagutsuchi, kinda.
Is it?
Not really better. Well, Jamboree Kagutsuchi is like 12 CP, but this is directly adjacent instead of horizontal.
Oh,
it's not like the same rate.
But yeah.
So like this directly adjacent is like really different. But that's only if we're like in the whale territory of like level 100 ARs. I mean, it could happen if you like dump a bunch of stumps. I mean, I'm kind of tempted, to be honest, if I had like just like a huge stockpile of stones to like whale with, then I would like dump it on this because I also want that 5-star leaked AR. But yeah, I unfortunately have 2 basic tastes, so I need to save for some variants like Kimun Kamui. And
Hey,
some
I
other
like him too.
people.
But yeah, you're here, folks. If he had more stones, he would definitely wail for it to some degree. This banner really does have a lot of strong ARs, so if you were like on the edge before, consider this our green light for and recommendation. Say, yeah, go ahead and pull in this banner. It's good.
Yeah, AR banner is not too much of a scam this time around.
It's like,
I mean, in like the past like reruns, they've all been kind of eh. This is probably like the most eh AR to me because it's just like shitty if it's like at AR.
I agree,
level.
but you know, it still has some neat potential. Maybe not amazing, but it's
like the
nice
art,
to hear
too.
that this is the worst AR. It's like, it's honestly, there's been a lot of other worse 4-stars we've had.
I actually like all the art for the ARs this time around too, so that's nice.
They
They've
really,
all been pretty good.
they really like the drawing Licho's tongue and all this art.
So what?
Licho's mouth is pretty much open and all the art showing his tongue.
Oh yeah, I changed my support list for like a meme, and his mouth is open in all of them.
But yeah, I would. Those are pretty much all my thoughts on this, and I'm guessing you don't have much else to say. Do you have anything to say about the glint? Nothing.
For the glint? No, I'm just gonna say that like there's no reason to use it because everybody's running Kashi Labe.
That's true. That's true. If you happen to not be, then I guess this could help. But Kashi Lake was quite a strong AR, so forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, like if you didn't have it, it's just like I don't know. When would you not run Kashi Labe? Only if you like somehow don't have a magic or snipe unit on your team.
Well, there's also.
So, I don't know.
I mean, that happens with me sometimes, and also, again, it's only phase start. If you happen to have long phase turns or battles, this could be a bit more useful, perhaps.
Yeah, if you're at like the end of a phase and there's only like one enemy left, then you can miss pretty easily. Yeah, I don't know who to put this on for Glint, to be honest. I didn't really think too much about it.
No, that's fine. It's like, it's Glint. Everything benefits from Glint. And the CP effect, it's just called Gutsuchi. Nothing to say much about it. Alright, I'll just read out the comments and then close the stream. OMG cute! Okay. They really like the lighting, going crazy with lighting for these ARs though. Because, of course, festival. Kind of strange choice, but Christmas eye gear, getting tons of buffs, and then actually helping his allies in the process. That is a legitimate idea. Sorry I missed it. I mean, the idea is that you're gonna be like giving eye gear a ton of buffs anyways, so... or rather, he's gonna be taking it.
So, yeah, I still don't think it's good. Because it's like... okay, so like, if you are getting plus 3 CP at a 35% rate, that's like 3 CP like for every 3 buffs on average. So even if you got like 10 buffs, right, you're only gonna get like 10 CP to like allies, which is like arousal to everybody, which is like, okay, whatever, right? I mean, you could.
What other
you could kind of
could you equip on eye gear? Honestly, it's like
you could kind of like, I don't know, like roll the dice and like maybe you get like 30 CP to everybody, and like yeah, sure, but it's like you're rolling like a 35% for like 10 times when I'm missing fucking 70% like every time. Like,
okay, well, what would you say if Hidden decided to wail for this AR?
I mean, if you decide to wail for your AR and then you find out that it's fun, then good for you. But if it's like disappointing, then that's kind of feels bad, right?
All right, it's up to you and Hidden, because Hidden actually does well on things if he deems it worthy, and if it's in his taste. He doesn't really like these guys in particular, but you know he loves eye gear, so.
I would not wail for like this if you just like want to run it for Ager. I myself would like wail for it only because I just love like after buff CP stuff. I think it's like really hilarious with like all the voice activation lines. So yeah.
Interesting reason. All right. All right. I'll just continue reading comments. Another instant glint skill, but only one missed. Yeah, it's weird. It's like Kurogane's, which is like, why? But you know, it effectively means they're gonna have a slightly higher rate every second turn, provided it doesn't fail glint. Great on supports, and any units with after missing seals. It's also nice on Festival Licho, Kruznik, Onsen Miniaki, Astaroth, and Astarte. These are just a few units that can really utilize the air. Yeah, well said. I missed a few of those. I did mention some of them, but Kruznik, I was actually thinking of him, but I was like, he doesn't really do much outside of base star ability, so I decided against mentioning him. And his thing, someone he misses, like his crit, that's like, it only works when he like has combo, which is only at base star, right? And that's guaranteed anyways. Vigorbot, Festival Licho. Yeah, it could work on him since he misses anyways. Saving for variant Keymoon is legit reason to say fashionista save. I mean, F save. So I don't know why I did that. And all these ARs are permanent anyway. Yeah, I mean, the upshot is he actually should be pulling for like ARs often if you want a chance at these. You know, from if you're not pulling in a specific banner itself, they're not exactly rate up outside of it. Look loves Keymoon. Yeah, he does. It's one of his favorites. It's one of my favorites too. But the thing is, I just have a lot of favorites.
Well, I like Wen more than Keymoon, but
yeah, I mean, I like Wen a lot more too. But you know, Keymoon has some pretty eyes, and he's cool and he's comfy. But also, Wen is I like Wen's aggressiveness, and I can't really say much more because I don't know his plot. But I did read that one translation that was, I think you translated actually for some reason, and wow, that was pretty spicy. His special.
Yeah, Wen kind of has like the Keymoon and Wen kind of have like the Keymoon is like serious and like older, but Wen is like kind of like the evil, but also younger and more rambunctious. I guess like if there's like a Storika reference, it's like Pang and Pangaski, but I don't know. So kind of like the youthful, like evil, even. I kind of like that personality. I think it's a fun character. Basically.
They both have perks. I like Wen. I have it as my skin too, but you know, it's unfortunate because I really like Keymoon's skin too. I will reserve my full judgment until the actual story gets translated though, just to see what they're actually like in depth. I think he likes Wen a bit more. Yeah, Harvey, you know your stuff. You know better than me. Both are good though. Yeah, for sure. Well, good work with you. Not quite yet. Don't rush yourself. Yeesh. Yay. Well, I tried. I did pull it though. Didn't well. Aw. Well, sorry. It didn't work out, but you know, it was definitely not mathematically not a waste to pull on this banner. 4-star error you can get from any though, if not in seats. That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, you'll be redeeming 1 or 2 at most.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts before I close off?
Yeah. ARs are perma, but AR banners always give me like massive FOMO because they're perma, they're almost like never rate up ever again, except if you're like the Tetsu Walk on AR, which I completely fail every time.
I'm so sorry,
so, yeah.
Look, I'm sorry.
But I mean, like every other AR, it's like almost never came back. So like, yeah, this is basically like your only one chance of getting it, unless you like depend on like some natty grab bag or like regular AR banner rates.
But it's true though, it's really like
low.
Like even transients, like limited transients get reprinted more than this, so you might even have a better chance at a limited unit than getting this if you decide to defer this, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean you pull on like the regular AR banner and you get a bunch of new stuff. So.
Yeah, I do. I got the Tetsuakan banners for that.
I mean like other people's luck is just other people's luck. My luck is my luck, so I'm not really that affected.
Okay. Well, that's a very well-mannered way to handle it. Alright, I'm gonna go close the stream now. Unfortunately, I do not have artwork featuring just us two, so I'm just gonna show Furby and Zalka's skin with me. But pretend not to I'm sorry. If any of you have fan art for the updated group, or just for any other combination for anything in this channel, I would love to accept it. But that is a really weird way of pandering, so I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, alright. So we are closing the banner now, the stream. But before that, what are your thoughts on this event and the banners overall, and the Evos, just overall, as a whole? Milk,
overall, this reprint is like a little bit too long for my liking. 3 weeks is a bit long. There's only 10 days left though, so maybe 11. Yeah, 11 days. So I guess it flies quicker than it is. I'm not playing Ed Walker though, so I don't know how other people are viewing it.
Yeah, for those that are just like like game that takes their time and they don't have any secondary game, yeah, it sucks. But and for people like me, this game, this event, I've been okay with it honestly. Like, I think it's going on an okayish amount of time, but that's because I actually had stuff to do on like everyone else, like streams and all that. Ugh. But and
well, I've been also like really busy recently due to like, I don't know, work and just going through my Steam backlog. So I don't really mind like taking a break every so often.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like when people
also this event.
Like
this event kind of like panders to me because I like Licho a lot. So yeah.
Really, I didn't know that. Then again, I guess it'd be hard to tell with Harvey being like absorbing all Licho affect nowadays.
Well, I really like personally identify with him in like his Jiangxi event, like the story. So yeah, he's kind of like a favorite of mine, just like character writing wise. Yeah.
The writing in Jiangxi was pretty exceptional, honestly, in terms of the characters. They were very restrained, and Licho seemed very relatable, not just super horny horn dog, let's get in bed. But instead, he's like, yeah, you know, we just met each other, we're strangers, and but that also has its perks in its own way, and it was a very almost like
I think he's
natural,
just like really multifaceted, like in his character, that I just find like really interesting, like his like kind of like his fear of authority. I don't know, his like sort of like depression issues.
Yeah, his willingness to believe in himself on that. I'm missing the details because it's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, I was
he has like a lot of stuff, like that and like becoming a tiger. It's just like all interconnected, and it's a lot that I like.
Yeah. Licho's cool. But yeah. Okay, then I shall... I think... Yeah, I already gave my thoughts. Banners, amazing. Pull it, for sure. From now on, I wish LifeWonders would make all AR banners like this, at least as good as this. This is definitely a new standard for AR quality. For AR banners, anyways. Like... we were joking at one point that the freebie 5-star ARs have been better than the AR banner ARs for a while now. But this is finally, we're getting good ARs again.
Yeah. The AR banner is good. Pull for it if you like them. They're really good in my opinion. Skivos, the first batch was good. Second batch, not so much. Yeah, the second batch was just kind of eh. So yeah, that was my thoughts.
Give me a second. Right. So yeah, that was my thoughts on the banner. The story itself, maybe some of you read it, maybe some of you haven't, but I thought it was pretty good. A bit long, honestly. But I don't think it was wasting or preambling time. I just think there was just a lot to cover in the story. So I would say it's good, but maybe not worth your time just because it is super long. And the event itself, the duration, I don't mind. The drop quests are super easy. It was Kurugane and Licho just, cooperating with each other, extending the range and all that. And I'm always happy for slightly longer than usual reprint events because that means I get to relax and do nothing more. But I'm sure we'll get back to our regular scheduled programming of new content again. I'm going to read the comments and then I shall close the stream. Let's see. But good work. Well, I tried. I did pull it. I rated that. The event is fun. I wanted this event so badly, but people in this were like, for your own good. No. And it showed up. Thank you for the stream. Yeah, no problem. Smug dunce. What? Error take that. Nope, no takebacks. Also, thanks for the discussion. I was super excited for this one. Alright. Well, I'm sure me and Milk could use a break now after almost 3 hours doing this. And for those that stayed from the beginning, wow. Good on you, especially. Pats up to your back. Alright, we will talk to you sometime in the future whenever the next content batch comes out. So, we'll just say our goodbyes now. Alright, you ready, Milk, my buddy? 1,
Yeah.
2, 3. Bye.
Bye.